It was muted the whole time, wasn't it? Oops. Okay guys, and welcome to the STPL. We're here for Season 4 now. Somehow we've made it 4 seasons and the tournament hasn't died yet, so that's a good sign. I am about to make Rota very angry though. But I thought I'd try something different for this season. This is the format. The format's essentially the same as the previous season, so Season 3 especially, it's exactly the same. The prize distribution is the same as well. We've currently got $1,010, I think it is, out of our $2,000 prize pool, so if you want to help with that, there is going to be some links posted in chat as the game goes on. This season though, I went a bit insane, and I know there's a lot of people who are kind of not annoyed, but they're a little bit, well, this is a little bit too much, Kicks. What do you think you're doing? And it's very possible because essentially I went a little bit over the top with new maps. So we've got 6 brand new maps. So there's 6 brand new maps here. We have Desert Dwellers, Paradise, Charmander, Rosen Bridge, Tear of Goddess, and Blindside. 6 brand new maps for the STPL, made specifically and submitted for the map test tournament. I couldn't pick between them, so I just picked all of them because that's just how I did it. If people aren't very happy with that, then I guess that's the problem. Obviously, I'm here in my VR chat avatar as well because we're doing like the whole virtual studio thing, and I thought, why the hell not? Fits, right? It's all, I'm heavily into VR now, so like I thought, screw it, let's just do something fun. But either way, we've essentially got a brand new season with a lot of brand new teams. It should be a lot of fun, and I'm just glad to be able to bring this to you again because I must admit I've kind of not missed having the schedule of having to stream 3 nights a week, but I have also missed doing it. So I'm back again. It's all well and good. We've got Wico, who's one of our new teams. I think they're on the left of me, if I remember rightly. So I think they're up here. You can see the team logos and everything. The scores will go up there as well as the game goes on. But it's a brand new season. 6 brand new maps. 2 returning maps from Season 1. Pathfinder and Neo Moonglaive. So what else is there to say other than I hope that everyone has a lot of fun, because I'm looking forward to bringing it to you. Now, let's go through and introduce the teams we are going to see this time. And while this loads, I'm going to take my headset off. And I need to maybe do this transition a little bit smoother in future, but it's not the end of the world. But apparently, this is the end of the world, because nothing is actually appearing right now, which is a good sign. Here we go. Okay, so this is everybody. We have returning from Season 2 and 1, Psystorm.eu. They missed out on Season 3 because they're all a little bit busy with real life. And overall, like, they decided to sort of step out for that. IRK are back as well. DM is also here. Wico is joining us for the first time in Season 4. They did kind of join in Season 3, but basically... okay, yeah, the logos didn't load properly because my overlay didn't load properly. That would make sense. But yeah, we've got Wico joining us. They split off from Valhalla team, and they've joined on their own this time, which, to be honest, I think a lot of people will be a lot happier with. It's not going to be a foreign team using Korean mercenaries. It's just going to be a Korean team. And I don't agree with the mercenaries thing, but if there's anything yeah, if there's anything, there's no stats here at the moment, so this doesn't really matter, but it's essentially just going through the teams to introduce the season. We've got Soul Gaming back again, treble champions so far. Is anybody going to be able to take them down? White Clan came close in Season 1 and 2, losing only on the ace match, and IRK came close as well. The score line at the end was like 5-3, no, it wouldn't have been 5-3, it was 4-2, I think, but we could have had an ace match. Then we've got Red and NetWars, two returning teams who have been here with us from the start. We've got Naz coming back as well. They did disband after Season 2, but they've got the band back together, and here they are in Season 4. Clan Revolution and Ash joining us once again as well. So we've got a good set of 10 teams, a lot of returning teams. Well, I mean, 9 returning teams. All 9 have been in pretty much every single season, so we know that they're damn good teams, and that's the important thing. If we have a look at the player rankings, which I need to get used to controlling my overlay again because I've completely forgotten how to do this. Essentially, we have a good top 10. We've got Zerg back in the tournament as well, so he has a chance to go further up. Scan at the top with Noob. Noob actually edging over Scan by 1 point. This is obviously ELO based entirely on the STPL ecosystem. kogeT in 3rd, DeWalt in 4th. Both of them incredibly good players. FAMASI not going to be in the STPL for the time being. White Clan did bow out after Season 3, and they've not returned for Season 4 just because of how late the games are for them. It's like, I think it's, at the moment the games are 1 AM in Korea, which is a little bit crazy. But yeah, we won't see FAMASI this season, but he's still up there in the top 10. We've got Bonneth and Spire quite close behind him as well. They're going to overtake him soon. And then Zerg, Taitu, and Zealot holding up the bottom end of the top 10 as well. Zerg actually held on to his top 10 position the entire way through Season 3 despite not playing. So it just shows how strong Zerg actually was. He had such a big lead that no one really came close to him. More recently we saw Avalov drop down as well out in the top 10, but he also retired. So that's just how it is. That's how things are looking. Let's have a look at our first couple of teams. Starting us off here, we do have DM Disturbed Mind. We've got a good lineup for them. They've actually added a Korean player called SanDara. It's someone that Castamuse knows. He got them in contact. I think he wanted to play for a foreign team. And there he is. So he's joined them. It is a Protoss player, if I remember correctly. So we've got another Protoss player on DM. They've got quite a few of them, but as the STPL knows, and as anyone who follows the STPL knows, essentially there's PvPs all day, every day. So we're starting with a PvP right now. We're going into one of our cooler maps though. A lot of players may not think it's the cooler one, but we'll figure out what happened. Let's have a look at our second team. This is our brand new team, so they don't have any stats at the moment. It is going to be Wico. Last has some stats because he did play for Valhalla team the entirety of last season, but the rest of the players are all new. We've got Smurfs, Last, Digda, and 973, and I'm almost certain I had the players' races somewhere, but apparently not. So we don't have the races, but I can tell you we do have. We'll see it on the next screen. It doesn't really matter, does it? I've completely forgotten how my overlay works. It's brilliant. So good. Yeah. So 973 is but here are the matchups we're going to see today. Starting us off here is going to be a ZVP between Pre and Smurfs on Rosen Bridge. We're then going to have a PvP between SanDara and Last on Desert Dwellers. Our brand new 2-player map, Rosen Bridge, being our. Apparently Digda is DK from VT, so I'm going to have to merge their two accounts, yeah. And then we've got Whip versus Digda, who is DK apparently. But yeah, I'll be able to add his stats together. And then we've got Tech against 973 as well. So we've got a good balance of matchups. We've got a ZVP, a PvP, a TvP, and a ZVP again, so that's not too bad. Paradise, Desert Dwellers, Rosen Bridge, and Charmander are 4 brand new maps as well, so it's going to be maybe a little bit harder for our players to start with, but I guess we'll see how that goes as we go along. Player stats, I'm not really going to go into Smurfs too much just because he doesn't have any stats, but Pre is one of the mainstays, actually acting captain at the moment for DM. He's doing a really good job captaining everyone as well. He's always making sure that everyone's around before he plays his games, and just he's one of the more creative players on DM's roster. He did really well in Season 3. His win rate is sitting around 42%, which is still very respectable. So I'm kind of glad that he's back here again in Season 4. Hopefully gonna show us some incredible games on this brand new map, because the map we're going into is definitely one map that is unlike anything you will have ever seen before in Brood War. It is a semi-island, semi-land map. So if you look at this map, if you've seen the essentially the map test tournament games, you would have seen some of them, but there's 4 spawns. 2 of the spawns are actually on an island. You do have 3 gases on your island and a mineral only, so you've got no worries about having an economy, but you also can spawn on the mainland in the top left and bottom right, and this gives you access to less easy gases. So the player on the island, if you do spawn island, non-island, like we are going to have in this game, the island player can be a lot more greedy early on, so that gives the island player a little bit of an advantage. They can tick up much faster, get a bigger army faster as well, but the land player does have eventually access to more bases because they do have their 4 bases at the bottom and the 4 bases at the top, but it's incredibly hard to defend all of them, whereas the island is relatively easy. So I'm very interested to see how this is going to go. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get into game number 1 of the STPL Season 4. And it would seem none of the actual overlays come up again, so that's something I've got to watch out for. There we go. Yeah, starting us off down here in the bottom right-hand corner is going to be your blue Protoss player fighting for Wico. It's Smurfs. And his opponent spawning up here in the top right-hand island. It's going to be the red Protoss player fighting for DM. Now, one brand new thing for this season, if you haven't already realized, I'm actually multi-streaming on Restream.io. There is a stream on the YouTube channel for STPL, youtube.com/STPL TV. If you would prefer to watch there, so you need to pause the stream midway, you can do that. And I'm also streaming on Afrika TV for the 5 Koreans that are actually awake at the moment. Although I think Castamuse is awake, because he lives on Europe time for some reason, but I can't complain. But yeah, PvP on this map realistically shouldn't look too crazy compared to normal PvPs. I mean, we could see a little bit of early greed from both players, but you'll note that Smurfs, given the fact he is on the mainland, has to scout. This is another advantage the island player has that somewhat offsets the fact they are stuck on an island and they can't really do anything. So Smurfs is going to go for a gateway first, and Pre is going to go for a Nexus first here. And now, of course, given this is an island map, Smurfs is not going to be able to get over there, but he will be able to shuttle units across relatively easy in the early game, as it's a little bit harder to defend the islands early on, and later on he'll have the freedom of unit movement as well. Now, from the map test tournament games we saw here, we saw a lot of Reavers and we saw a lot of carriers as well. Now, the other thing about this map is there is these neutral hives. There's 4 of them on the map. There's one at 12, one at 6, one at the 2 o'clock position, and one down here at the 8 o'clock position. And what this does is it gives Zerg a way to get a Nidus either onto the mainland or onto one of the islands, which allows them to expand there a little bit easier. It also stops the Protoss and Terrans who spawn on the island from taking a very, very quick third gas, which can be quite difficult for Zergs to be able to deal with, especially early on. Now I will say, out of all the maps I've ever put in the STPL, this is by far the most controversial. There has been a lot of backlash from players who have said this map is not competitive, it does not belong in a StarCraft tournament. And I have said that if there is major problems with balance, and we see that through playing, then we will look to either upgrade the map to like a Shin version, or we will remove it and replace it during the middle of the league. There is going to be a break around Christmas for 2 weeks, so any changes or anything like that will be able to be done there. Rosen Bridge isn't going to be in the map pool every week either, so it's not a major deal. I do know of one balance concern. Like, there is one balance concern that is genuinely valid even, and it's ZVZ. If you spawn on the mainland in ZVZ, you have to build lings, whereas in the island you don't. So the island player has an advantage which can be quite difficult to come back from. Even building 2 to 4 lings can be a major problem. So one of the things I've thought about asking Gosomi to do if we need to is to add plasma style eggs blocking the middle area here. Because that way it makes it impossible for the ground player to be able to push through with lings super early, and it means you don't have to build lings straight away. And given it is ZVZ, you can't necessarily drone scout either because it puts you behind. ZVZ is a little bit hard of a matchup to balance around, but then when I picked this map I thought we wouldn't see too many Zergs on it, just because it is quite heavily balanced towards Protoss and Terran, I would say, given it is a semi-island map. But I know we do have one Zerg coming up in week 1, which is Shine, the bagger builds himself, and that makes so much sense. If there's anyone on Sol who's going to play this map, it's him. We've got a Reaver opening coming in from Smurfs, and we also have the same thing coming in from Pre. But Pre is, of course, at the advantage at the moment. Smurfs actually going for very, very quick. Oh, sorry, this is Pre going for quick Reaver shuttle speed. Looks like both of them are. Lucky Noob saying in chat we could also force people to spawn on the mainland. If anything, I'd force people to spawn on the islands, because I do like island maps. To be honest, games in the STPL are usually relatively fast anyway, given it is a team league. Look at this, Pre is already killing the Hive with a cannon. And this cannon also works to stop and deter shuttles, because that shuttle is going to be flying in from this angle. But yeah, Hives have like a ridiculous amount of health. They take forever to kill. And here we go, is Pre going to be able to see this? Yes, he is. The Reaver just goes out of vision, but does Pre notice this? Pre actually shuttling 2 probes over. He's not even going with his Reaver first. He goes to the other island, and he goes to the mainland as well to scout. Pre is most likely going to try and hide a base, but here we go. There is a Reaver in the main. There is a cannon here, but cannons do not do well against Reavers. They die very, very quickly. And now Pre is going to feel the burn, feel the pain of being on an island here, because he's got no units to actually back this up. His shuttle. Where is his shuttle? Why is it gone? Did he just not build one? His shuttle's here. What happened to his Reaver? Did he suicide? Yeah, I don't actually know what he's doing here, but there we go. Oh, looks like he has bought some units back. He's going to be able to chase down this, but he's losing a lot of probes to do this. He does, of course, have the economy advantage here, but the Reaver is going to get away scot-free. Oh, the cannon. Oh, he takes a little bit of damage on that shuttle. Does need to be careful. The probes are going to be moving back here. The shuttle in hot pursuit, trying to get on top of this Reaver shuttle here. If he can snipe this, he'll be in a very good position. Gets the shuttle, but here comes the probes right into the eye of the Beholder here. The Demon shooting the Scarabs there. That's a very lucky bug. Well, I say lucky. It was kind of foretold. That is the way of the shuttles, but Pre is alive, he is not dead, he is just behind in workers, and he is going to be behind in supply now, unless he can play greedy and catch his way back up. The second Reaver is out here on the middle of the map. There should be another shuttle coming in soon. It just finishes now. And this is all going to come down to how well Pre is able to defend. It looks like his Reaver, he never actually built another Reaver, so maybe he just planned on going shuttle speed and just going for a lot of drops here, but he needs to be careful. He's going to have to worry about defending. Now, did this pylon see the shuttle? I think it must have done, given the fact he knows the pylon's there. But here we go, triple shuttle coming out into the middle of the map. Could this be a mistake, though? By sending all of your units over here, it means you've got no units back at home to defend against the Reaver. Now, the one benefit he does have is he does have 3 shuttles. He can pick up all his probes. But this is going to be a very, very interesting dynamic here. We're going to have a Reaver going in for a suicide mission, most likely, to try and defend against the... to try and kill all of Pre's probes. Meanwhile, Pre's units are sat back here, and he is going to be pushing in to a Reaver and 4 Dragoons. This is definitely not the kind of position you want to be in. Looks like the Reaver shuttle is being chased away for the time being. He did lose another big chunk of his probes, though. And this is just getting worse and worse for Pre. He's waiting to try and bring all of his units over, but he can't kill the Reaver. That's the problem. Even with a lot of Dragoons, he just can't seem to chase the Reaver down here, because he put all of his units on the island. But here we go, it looks like the shuttle is going to take some damage from the cannons again. He's chasing the probes once again as well, and it looks like Pre has given up on his probes. I don't think he's realized the shuttle's still there. He's going to come in with his own Reaver and try and make some magic happen, but this is such a poor engagement for this Reaver Scarab. And here we go, it looks like this could be the move that loses Pre the game. He's got absolutely nothing left. His Dragoons are pushing forward. He is getting on top of the Reavers, but it's all of the other units he has to worry about. He's got 13 probes back at home. The cannon killing the shuttle at the end there. But how is Pre supposed to come back here? I am incredibly surprised that someone on an island could take this much damage early on, but Pre is going for a Hail Mary attack here. He has just a single Dragoon and a single Zealot in these shuttles. He needs to macro back up, and he needs to defend his units, but he just can't. I think this is going to be the move that ends the game. He's got nothing to defend against the Reaver. And here we go. The shuttles are coming over, but I mean, 4 Zealots and a single Dragoon are not going to do anything. GG, Pre taps out, and Smurfs takes game number 1. Okay, we'll be back in just a couple of minutes, guys. I will see you guys very soon.
Mission 2, start. Thank you. Laser gun. Thank you. Thank you. Iron Lizard. Shotgun. Thank you.
Okay guys, welcome back. We're going to be going into game number 2 of today's STPL and game number 2 of the STPL Season 4. This is going to be our second map. It's going to be Desert Dwellers. This map was made by Minerals. He put a lot of effort and a lot of work into this map, as with all of them, along with the same with Gosomi and Rosen Bridge as well. This map is the only map in the world to celebrate the STPL with an STPL logo on it as well. So I'm looking forward to it. It's a 2-player map, close by air spawns, although it isn't as close as you would think. It's quite deceptively large, this map. The ground distance varies depending on what path you take. It is going to be a PvP, so sort of map balance won't come into it too much, but given some of the other maps we've got, this is a relatively standard map. I think we're going to see relatively standard games on here. We did see standard games in the map test tournament as well, and not really too much changed from that period, so not really too much else to say. Let's get in to game number 2, and thank you SCP for the subman, means a lot. Okay, starting us off down here in the, well, up here in the top left-hand position, we have the blue Protoss player fighting for DM. It's their brand new player. It's SanDara. And his opponent spawning up here in the top right-hand corner for Wico. It is going to be last. It's South Korea versus South Korea here, and we have a very, very fast probe coming out here for last. So he is going to go for some proxy gateway shenanigans here. Now, is SanDara going to be ready for this? Is he going to scout fast enough? That is the question. LML complaining about the map because he lost on it, but he won the tournament overall anyway. And there we have it, the first gateway coming up here for last. Is he going to go for double gateway, or is he going to go for single gateway? From all of the South Korean StarCraft I've watched recently, double gates, double proxy gates seem to be a little bit more popular. And look at that move by last. He sends his probe out, and he's sending it back in to make it look like he's scouting. That is incredibly clever. There we go. That is awesome. So it's going to be 1 gate against 1 gate, so it's nothing too insane. We're probably not going to see a pylon and a shield battery coming up in SanDara's main, but I guess we'll find out. Core coming up. Is he going to skip Zealot? Looks like it is. This could be a little bit risky, but of course SanDara, who has not scouted whatsoever, is playing completely in the dark here. And that means last is going to have a very, very big advantage here. Although, look at this, he does build a Zealot. He's not going to skip one entirely, so he can defend against this, which is incredibly important because it can be very difficult to deal with. Okay, he's going to know this is a proxy now. He has to know it's a proxy, given how fast that Zealot is at his front door. The shield battery comes up immediately. He knows how important this is going to be able to defend against. Defending against this. Nice bugging on the Zealot with the probes. Really nice defense so far. Only losing 2 probes. Killing the Zealot without taking a single hit. That is incredibly impressive. Now, of course, the only problem is he does have a shield battery. That's not going to be too impactful, but with the Dragoon coming out, that's going to help out majorly. Now, another probe is under threat here. Looks like he is going to have to do a little bit better. Losing another probe, that's actually a pretty big deal. 16 to 13 probes. Does lose the Zealot, though. So that means this rush is pretty much done. But we've got more and more Zealots coming in. I mean, this really shouldn't be working anymore. But Zealots are so good that essentially we're probably going to see more and more Zealots coming until the core's done. Back at home, we've got the second gateway up. The core is on the way as well with the gas. He already has his gas, of course. There's the core coming in right there. But looks like the Zealot has got another probe. Shield battery on the probe here, actually going to help keep that alive. So it doesn't lose any additional probes, but is still behind. It's a lot of minerals to go into a shield battery, and losing 4 probes this early on is a pretty big deal. It's a lot of money to be losing, and now you're going to be up against 2 gates worth of production when you're still only on 1. There is only a 2 probe differential now, and obviously when this gateway gets taken down, which it should do relatively soon, then that shouldn't be as much of a big deal. But looks like SanDara is going to go to the center of the map to try and find out where this is over the top of this wonderful STPL logo. Look how cool that looks. That looks so cool. It was initially like Minerals initially put this STPL logo on Charmander, and it was called something else. I can't remember what he called it before, but he moved it because it looked so much better in the desert theme. SanDara definitely going for a really weird scouting position or scouting path here. Maybe he's not realized it is a 2-player map. That is a little bit unfortunate, but people did get ample notice to be able to check the maps. Castamuse is going to be disappointed because this is one of Castamuse's friends, I think. And he's going to be like, how come you didn't look at the map? I mean, I guess one thing is, whenever you have brand new maps in a tournament, especially like a foreign team league, when there's so much else going on, a lot of people probably aren't going to look at the maps right away unless they're like super into it. And given he's a brand new player, he probably hasn't been looking into it too much. But it looks like SanDara could be in a lot of trouble here. It's 2-gate production. Actually, it's 4-gate production now, looking at the minimap against 4-gate. But the unit advantage, of course, does go to last. Oh, he attacked his own gateway. No, that's not where you want to be attacking with your goons. He does fall back to the safety of his gateways. The Dragoon at the back actually managing to get a Dragoon. This was his plan all along. Hide the Dragoon, come back and get a free kill. He actually got 2 kills with this Dragoon, by the way, so an absolute hero of Aya. He gets control over the top of his double ramp going into his main. This is a ramp, not a bridge. But he is going to have to be careful because he is going to be engaging next to the gateway. He can't afford to lose units here. If he loses units, he is going to be in a lot of trouble. He needs to fight with everything at the same time. Nice target firing by SanDara. Yeah, I guess technically this is both a ramp and a bridge, as Ryan Metal points out. That is real Terran ingenuity right there. Okay, so the pylon and the gateway have gone down, so it's only... Oh, actually, sorry, it was only 2 gates back at home, so it's 3-gate production. We've got the Robo coming in with the Reaver. Looks like we've not got any shuttle speed just yet. I mean, it's not as important as on a island map, but this is going to be a strong counterattack by SanDara, so Last is going to have to be careful. Hey Eskia, thanks man. I hope the cast will go well as well. I've not signed up for CPL just because I really don't play Brood War anymore, and I feel like I'd be a handicap for any team I get put on because I'm barely going to be playing, so I'm not going to kid myself and sign up and like think I'm going to play because I'm just not going to end up playing. I like casting, I like watching Brood War. I don't like playing it as much. Here we go, looks like we are going to have the engagement coming in here to the middle of, or to the natural of last space. He doesn't get the Reaver though and loses most of his units, so he's going to have to fall back and defend. Looks like SanDara getting ready to build a Nexus here. Last is going to be doing exactly the same thing. Last actually getting his Nexus at pretty much exactly the same time. Yeah, SanDara definitely struggling a little bit more in this game. He's actually got a Dragoon stuck here as well. I don't think this Dragoon can get out of this gap, which is why it's there. GG, there we go. SanDara taps out. He knows he doesn't have enough units to defend his natural, and he gives in. Because that's all he has to do. Or that's the only option he has, basically. Yeah, this map is very Blitz-X, like, that's why I really like it, because I like Blitz-X. And for some reason... Ah, okay. That's why. I'll be back in just a couple of minutes, guys. See you guys soon. Okay guys, welcome back. We're going to be heading into our third map of today. This is going to be our 3-player map. There is one 3-player map a week, so essentially this week it's Pathfinder, next week it's Moonglaive, then Pathfinder, Moonglaive, Pathfinder, Moonglaive, and so on. But essentially that is because we have, I think it's 3 2-player maps this time. Now, this is actually one of my favorite maps. It was a great map in Season 1. We had some incredible PvTs here, which is what we're about to see as well. 2 of the best Protoss versus Terran games of all time were played on here as well. Jangvi versus Fancy and Stork versus Fancy, both of them incredibly good. An incredibly good map. We saw some amazing games. The last TvP we saw here was kogeT versus Archneon in 2019, June 30th. So it was a while ago, but we're back. We've found the path back to Pathfinder, and we're going to have Whip versus Digda here as we get into game number 3. Okay, starting us off here in the 12 o'clock position, we do have the pink No, sorry, I'm reading the wrong part of the overlay at the wrong time. We have the peach. Oh my god, I'm so bad at this now. It's been way too long. We have the green Terran player fighting for DM from Canada. It's Whip. And then down here in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the pink Protoss player fighting for Wico. It's Digda, known as DK last season. So it'll be cool to see how this is going to go. Now, we do have some cheerfuls that I've actually completely forgotten to set up, which is why, you know what, let's do it now. Because Lucky Noob has made some really incredible cheerfuls for this season. I mean, so has Rota as well. We have a Digda cheer actually, so let's cheer for Digda, shall we? Let's go. That's the STPL cruel cheer for Digda right there. Still kind of cool, but yeah, there we go. Obviously his name is like Diglett, and that's a probe, I think. I'm actually going to re-record those a little bit because the lighting on them is a bit weird. Yeah, Rota saying in chat before about how I'm wrong and Poussin versus Firebat Hero is the best PvT of all time. I said 2 of the best of all time, not that it's the 2 best. Yeah, it's a probe and Diglett. Yeah, it's kind of cool. Whip is going for a relatively standard opening on Pathfinder, gonna wall himself in just to be a little bit extra safe. Proxies are incredibly strong on this map. That's how kogeT, if I remember rightly, lost against Archneon a year and a half ago, which is kind of crazy to think. The STPL's been going on for that long. And it's even crazier to think that a year and a half ago, we were on Season 1 still. Season 1 was so long that was actually the final part of Season 1, if I remember correctly. That was the grand final playoffs, where Archneon played against what am I saying? Against Archneon, sorry. Now, we've had 2 relatively quick games so far, but they have been 2 brand new maps, so it's a little bit harder. It takes a little bit for new maps to get figured out. This is a little bit of an older map. Some of the STPL veterans will know it quite well, whereas some of the people like Digda and Whip may not know it very well, so we've still got the same risk of it being a new map, essentially. That's why when a lot of people are saying like 6 new maps is too many, when given the fact that the maps I pick for STPL no one ever plays, so it's no different to me. Like, I guess there is historical data on them, so you can kind of base things off of that, and there's also pro games played on them, but you know what, STPL has been going now for 3 years, so let's bring in some STPL maps. If some of them are good, we'll keep them around for a few seasons, you know? A lot of work went into these from the map creators, so I'd like to give new map creators a chance to shine. And I mean, I guess playing in my tournament is not exactly shining as such, but we are technically the only global team league in Brood War, so that's something. Whip is going to be bunker expanding behind this, so he is going to go... He's actually gone for a starport first. I think I clicked on this before, but didn't quite comprehend it. So it's a fake expansion with this bunker at the front. Shine is playing in this tournament, and so is Soma, and so is Noob, and they are pros. And oh, I see where you're going with this. It's very shiny. Very, very good point. But this is going to be an interesting way of dealing with this. Now, by having this bunker out here, it's going to be very difficult for Digda to confirm if there's an expansion. Now he's going to see the bunker, he sees the tank and the brain, and he's going to fall back here. Is he going to go in far enough to see if there's an expansion or not? That is the important thing. If he sees the command center, he shouldn't be worried about a drop this early. But if he doesn't see anything, he's going to have to be careful because there's a dropship coming in here. Now it is going to be shuttle as well for him. I mean, this is a very drop heavy map. Lucky Noob, just to let you know that best is not the same best. Yeah, LML saying that you have to check for the command center here. That is very, very... Oh, it's a very, very good point. But this isn't going to be your standard drop here. This is going to be a tank drop with 2 vultures. Now, that isn't the most common drop on this map. You can also elevator in. But here we go. The probe is going to see the units pushing forward. But is he going to defend against a drop? Or is he going to defend the front of his base? He's going to the front of his base. And by moving all of his Dragoons out here, 2 Vultures going to come in behind. And this could do a lot of damage. And while the Dragoons are moving back to defend this, guess where the main army's going? He is going to the front. Now, there's mines down in his base now as well. He should actually pull the army back from the front, which he's going to, and airlift it into the main. That could be an incredibly strong play here. But looks like the Vultures are going to get taken down. Needs to lay these mines. That's 3 mines that he's not used. That is definitely not the best use of that Vulture, but he does get a few of the probes. I think the dropship went back home. Yes, it did. He's going to come back with a tank and some Vultures, but all of the mines have been cleaned up in the main now, so this shouldn't do as much damage. So it looks like he wants to go behind the natural and try and shell over the wall. Does he have siege mode just yet? I didn't actually see what he was researching. Red best is a different best. He's still Protoss, but he's a different best. It's really confusing. It's like Red had a last as well, who's a Protoss, who isn't the Terran last, and Wico also have a last, who is a Protoss, who isn't the Terran last either, and it's a different last to who was on the thing. Here we go. Looks like the dropship is actually going to be in a little bit of trouble here. He shouldn't be flying over the main like this. Just about gets away with his life. Now, of course, the counter drops will start to come in soon. We do have Reaver speed coming in, which is shuttle speed coming in. If Reaver speed was an upgrade, I think the game would be beyond broken. Oh, wait, yeah, last on Red was Terran as well, wasn't he? I forgot. He, I spoke to him, like, after Season 1, I think, and he said he stopped playing the game because he was too busy. It's a shame. He was a good player to watch. He played a really, really good game against Marine on it was Troy, I think, wasn't it? That was a really, really good game. Marine versus Red last. Going back to this game, we have 4 gateways now for Whip, or for Digda even, getting these players very, very confused. But it looks like the shuttle is not being used offensively here. He's going to use the Reaver to defend against the drop. Nice fake out there, wasting the Scarab. That's a little bit of minerals that he's not going to be able to get back. Looks like he's going to chase down the shuttle, or the dropship with the shuttle. Okay, I'm a little bit confused why he would drop out that far back, but it looks like he is going to be able to get it. Or is he going to get away? Is this tank going to get away here? Oh, no. Sniper Dragoon. But another drop comes in to the main base. A few probes do get taken down here, but this is 2 tanks that he's not going to be getting back. There is the dropship as well that I believe went down because we don't see a dropship anywhere else. Oh, no, it did actually come down here and try to run away. Yeah, this is a problem for Whip, because Whip has lost a lot of his tanks. Digda hasn't really lost too many units. And this is going to be a big counter drop coming in here to the main. There is a Wraith here. Well, oh my god, he's flying over the Marines, but the Marines do absolutely nothing. The tanks are both completely covered up. Or they're completely stacked up. The Zealots are doing so much damage. But there is a Reaver here in the main base as well. There's 2 Wraiths, which should help defend against this. But this is going to be a lot of damage. This Reaver is going to do so much. He has to save this tank, and he does. But the Reaver not attacking SCVs here. He's just letting it die, which is a little bit unfortunate. But it looks like he is going to be able to take this down. Looks like there is a Zealot at the top attacking SCVs. But meanwhile, while this is going on, there is a drop into the main base of Vultures. A very drop-heavy game with a lot of action going back and forth. Whip is still doing okay. He's not lost too much of his worker supply. He's lost a lot of army. But Digda is in a position where he's lost a lot of probes, he's trying to expand to a third, and his army isn't that big either. So, I mean, it's a lot, well, it's considerably bigger, but of course Whip will have the defender's advantage. But it looks like Whip doesn't care about the defender's advantage. He is just going to defend by attacking constantly. And he does have an obs. It's here. But the thing is, and the fun thing about this map is because drops are so strong, it makes it hard for either side to really push out too early. Because if you push out and your opponent's going for a lot of dropships, or a lot of shuttles, all of a sudden your main is completely empty. But we've got a third mace coming up here for Whip as well, but you'll notice that there is a gas. The one that Digda has chosen to expand to. He's not gone for his pocket expansion, given the drops have been quite deadly so far. But this is actually also going to give Whip the ability to drop behind the minerals again. Oh, he's going to drop in the main and the natural at the same time. Here we go. Let's actually take a bigger zoomed out look at this. If he targets the probes well enough, this could be a lot of damage, but there is a cannon in the main now. And it looks like this should be cleaned up, but he's going to pick up the tanks and fly away for the time being. You can actually siege up down here, pull the vultures back, and then attack them from the low ground. But looks like Charlotte is going to come in here, going to be finding absolutely nothing because he's already flown away. Now Digda getting ready to push across the map here, moving into the center of the map. There's a lot of units coming down from Whip. Whip's aggression just has not stopped this entire time. He's only on four factories as well. Like this is aggression that realistically should not work. But what he needs to do is he needs to siege some tanks here, and he needs to hop into the main, and I think that's what he's going to do. We've got 3 dropships full of units. By moving all of his units out, he does force Digda to react, and that means there is absolutely nothing back here defending. This is another fantastic drop, but this is a lot of units coming in here for Whip. Digda has a lot of units out in the middle of the map. If he can just move out and attack, Whip doesn't have that much back here to defend, so he is going to be relying entirely on mines and tanks. These units in the main base, they didn't get too many probes again. I mean, this is still 7 kills, but these are 5 tanks he's not going to get back. And 2 shuttles easily clean that up. And I missed the mine explosion. I do apologize for that. I clicked away too early. Okay, the third base, the pocket expansion for Whip is going to be a little bit easier to defend. But look at this, vultures coming around the side of the map, trying to block this expansion, which they'll be able to do. They'll get the probe there and get some mines down just to make it annoying. But he's going to try and find some damage elsewhere. He can't get into the natural, so he's going to have to go into where the cannons are, which means these vultures are going to die. So he is actually going to give up on this entirely and try and go the other side, but Digda is very well defended. And here we go, the vulture's going to try and come back here. They do get 2 probes, 3 probes, 4 probes. But 5 vultures for 4 probes, maybe not too worth it, although he has evened up the economy again in terms of worker counts. And it looks like we are going to have Whip going for another big drop. Now, do we have any additional tech coming in here? No Stargate just yet, but he does have a Templar Archives, which means Storm, and Storm drops especially, could be on the table here, and that would actually be a very, very good decision. A nice scan by Whip, actually, trying to find where the army is, because he needs to know where to send his dropships, and he is going to be going around the edge of the map here. He's going to go on the dead side, over on the right-hand side, where nothing is sat, but look at this move by Digda. Digda, with the single probe getting ready to expand a little bit later on, is going to see the dropship. A lot of units coming back here to defend this. And shuttles coming in at the same time to attack at the other base. There is Storm available in this drop as well. This is going to be a very, very strong drop. Looks like we do have tanks spawning down here. We do have a storm drop in the main as well. Here it comes, the storm going down, not getting too many workers, but the zealots at the other base doing a ton of damage. Storm helping cleaning up these tanks at the bottom of the map as well. And Digda's, Whip's relentless aggression is once again pushed back, but this time with a counter. It looks like Digda may have done enough to pull himself a little bit ahead here. We've got two Wraiths chasing down these shuttles, but you know that he is going to be flying to where cannons are, so he's going to lose his Wraiths if he's not careful. And there we go, he does pull them back, and he does get a little bit of a scout with them as well, so that's pretty good. If it brings the Wraiths back up here, he could kill the Zealots in about 12 years. No sub notification. Gruglog, thank you for the sub. Sorry it didn't come up. I'm not sure why it didn't come up, but it's definitely there. But thank you for the sub, man. Means a lot. We should actually be able to replay that. I need to log in Streamlabs anyway, so we'll do that afterwards and then we'll play it. So we've got vultures heading around the outside of the map so far. This has been a pretty action-packed game. We've got a dropship once again coming over here to the bottom right. This time he's going to drop again on the high ground. There's no probes down here for him to kill just yet, but he is going to be able to hit all three mineral lines from this location. Although this tank is not going to be alive for very, very long. So this dropship going to go home without its cargo again. Yeah, there's actually no notification on Streamlabs at all for you subbing, man.
You called down the thunder.
STPL does.
Oh, thank you, Groglug, for the $10 donation, man. That means a hell of a lot. What a flex. I'm happy for you to flex some more. I don't mind. If anyone else wants to simp, please feel free. Edgewater in chat just said, "Can you help check if my PayPal works?" Okay, it looks like we do have... I thought that was a shuttle coming in for another drop, but there we go. It looks like we do have a push out from Whip going towards the center of the map. He does need to try and secure a third gas at some point, which he will be able to if he moves his army over here. But of course, we do have Digda with the Observer to check for this. Now the Wraiths do kill one of the observers. There is another observer which is going to come over and most likely die as well, as long as Whip sees it and scans for it. We've got a lot of units out here in the middle of the map, and Archon coming up here as well. Checking the upgrades is a very important thing to do in a PvT. We've got +1 attack, which is pretty respectable for a Protoss, and 2 attack for our Terran. We've got 2-1, 3-1 coming in very soon. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 factories, which isn't too many for 3 base, but he doesn't have that many gases against 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gateways. 7, 8 gateways. But the gateways are in a kind of a weird place. We do have an Arbiter now. I believe I heard the Arbiter there. Did I completely miss an Arbiter somewhere? I swear it sounds like there's an Arbiter somewhere, but I can't see it. But there we go, we do have a drop coming down here on the other Nexus, although I didn't even think it was a drop.
Oh wait, here we go.
Oh, there we go, cheers man. We do have some Zealots cleaning up this drop once again. The Wraith's going to help out against the Zealots, but Zealots have a huge amount of life, and they do not die to Wraiths, so that is something that needs to be looked at, Blizzard. Oh, the mine! Did that hit? I think that mine actually hit. That's actually a pretty big deal. We do have a expansion coming up here at the other main. If Digda can hold on to this, he's going to gain access to another 3 bases, essentially. So it's going to be very important for Whip to try and move into a position to stop this. But given the situation in the game, he's up against a very big Protoss army that is relatively heavily upgraded as well. But there is going to be a storm drop coming up here to the 12 o'clock location. This is going to be pretty big. The SCVs are being pulled already. There's no point storming here. You may as well just go away from here. One storm going down to try and storm the wraiths, which didn't actually do anything. He needs to use the other one. Storm again. May as well. They are paper planes. Look how quick they die to storm. Oh my goodness. They melt to storm. But there is another, oh my god, another storm drop coming in over here. 6 kills on that High Templar. Vultures coming down to try and deny this base. But there's already 3 cannons up here. And there's a lot of units. Whip has got himself a position on the map, but he's unable to really do anything with it at the moment. I mean, we've definitely got Digda in a position where he does have... now he's finally got the Arbiter. I must have been hearing the tank firing and thought it was an Arbiter for some reason, cloaking. We've got the Arbiter Tribunal, double Arbiters coming in at a time. Now, this is essentially the definition of a carrier map, so it's surprising to see Arbiters over carriers here, but I suppose we can't really complain. Digda losing a lot of probes there, trying to come over. Now, this is a timing to hit. The first Arbiter's done, but there's no spells. Why is he pushing now? He's hoping that his opponent doesn't have any scan. And this is a very risky play. This is just tanks against just Dragoons now. These Dragoons need to fall back, but he's pushing through. He's doing so much damage. And this is a really... That was the most anticlimactic stasis I've ever seen. Just 2 units at the back, but he does lose most of his army to this. Both of the supplies so similar in both workers and supply overall. He can't get probes over to this base, so he's building them here. Yeah, Casper, STPL wasn't late, it was at the right time, but I set the wrong time on Team Liquid. Yeah, we've got equal supply again, essentially, although Digda, of course, is going to be able to supply up a little bit quicker because he is on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 gateways. We still only have 8 gates, which isn't that many, but now he's got the base over here, he can go to 9 and 10. It's funny how many vultures are up here, but how little they can actually do. It looks like the shuttle did go down up here in the top left. That doesn't really surprise me too much. No, it didn't. It's actually still alive. He's just moved it and hidden it. And we've actually got the Arbiters clearing up, up these vultures now. He has enough Arbiters that he will be able to kill these vultures in about 2 weeks. Plus post some packaging. He is going to be able to secure this base in the top left, but he does need to be, or top right even, but he does need to be careful. We've got a base up here that's actually been spotted by an observer. He was trying to sneak a base up, but Digda he's in a good place, but if he loses access to that other main, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. And that is a very nice EMP, but does get stasised on his vessel. So this is going to be a blind Terran army. He's going to have to be careful. I don't know how much scan energy he actually has. Yeah, this is one of the reasons why carriers are so much better on this map, because a gateway army can't really fight straight up with a Terran army in the middle of the map. So it makes it hard to like expand as Protoss here. Like you've got the base up here, but it's relatively far away. This base is incredibly close to the Terran. But he did get, I think, 2 vessels. Is that 1 vessel or is that 2? He does need to, he wants to try and get the vessel. Oh, and he just misses out on the timing. Great defense there by Whip. Gonna be able to save those bases. Now these vultures are still alive, which is relatively funny. There's another 2 gateways coming up here. There is going to be a gas eventually as well. If we look at the mains, the main is mined out here for Digda. The natural is going to be close to gone as well, including the gas. The 6 o'clock base is still kind of healthy, but he did take it very quickly, so he's about to mine out there. But the gas is still pretty healthy. The main source of minerals he's going to have is this other main, so he has to defend this. There is, of course, the mineral-only base here, which is quite hard to defend, and look at this. Digda goes around, so guess what? Whip is just going to push. And if you get yourself trapped in your base as Protoss here, how are you supposed to win? Now, there is a storm available. He needs to make sure he uses it before the Templar dies. You cannot afford to lose High Templar here, but this base is going to be forfeit, and the main base of the Protoss, the Terran, is going to be under threat as well. But look at this, we've got tanks shelling on top of the gateways right now, and that is when things start to become a little bit more difficult for Protoss. But this is 5 Arbiters, and they mostly have enough energy to do whatever they want. And he gets the stasis on the vessel before he can EMP. He is going to actually storm one of his arbiters that somehow doesn't take any damage. And these tanks are going to be able to be cleaned up. Is he going... Oh, I was hoping he was going scouts to clean up these tanks. That would be amazing. But the natural of the Terran is going to go down. The top left base of the Terran has gone down as well. And Whip is on his last legs. He's down to 24 SCVs. And it looks like Digda, with a fantastic counter, is going to be the one who's going to be able to take this game. Whip is trying to take down this base in the bottom right hand corner, but is it going to matter? He's got very little money, he's got very few bases, but he is going to be able to trap the Terran in his base. This is still not over. This game is still going. There is a lot of units over here coming out of these gateways still, and this move could bring Whip, or bring Digda. I mean, Digda's ahead anyway, and this is the problem the Whip has, sorry. Because how does Whip defend this base? Digda knows it's there. The gateway units are going to wander up there, and there's going to be nothing Whip can do about it. Whip is trying to desperately build units out of his factories. And he's trying to bring his other units back, but he's just taken too much damage. He's down to 65 supply. It's just so much damage to have taken. The other SCVs are going to be chased away, and this command center is most likely going to go down as well. And there's even gonna... Oh, I thought there was going to be a storm drop, but he's got no energy. But he does save his main base, but there is enough. Oh, I think he actually got EMP'd, so there isn't enough for a stasis, but he does save his SCVs at the very least. But he's out of expansions. How does he expand again with so few workers? He cannot even afford to rebuild his army. And this is where Digda has really checkmated Whip here. Look at this. Because he can't defend against any recalls, he's having to pull his units back into his main back and forth again. And just the army of Digda just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Oh, and he's even blocked him in his main base. Oh no. Oh, you hate to see it as a Terran player, but as a Protoss you'll be happy with this for sure. He needs restoration, but he can't afford it. If he...
Easily amused, huh?
Death by 1,000 cuts. PogChamp, 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 PogChamp. Not like this.
Okay, and here we go. Looks like we are going to have the final push. A nice D-Matrix at the front, but all of the units at the back. I mean, if he holds on to this, it would be a miracle. But more and more stasis coming in. He can't even deal with the Arbiters at this point. That is how many there are. He's got a single Goliath, 2 more coming in from behind, but... I mean, yes, he's going to be able to take his natural behind this most likely, because the units can't even get to the base. There's so many stasis units that he cannot get through. But that is going to be it. Thank you, Eri, for the sub as well, man. 21-month streak means a lot. That is Fujikura from Soul fame as well. He is the clan leader of Soul, and it's pretty good. I also didn't cut that off. I put the anti-spam protection on. And I will always stand by the fact as Terran, you should fight until you're dead. And Whip still has units, he still has SCVs, but unfortunately they're going to die to an Arbiter. Fantasy wouldn't have GG'd by now. I mean, Digda is technically only on 2 mining bases. If Whip can somehow pull off a miracle here, this is the time. This is the time. This is Terran. This is Fergie time for Man United. If you follow English football. But here we go, Storm on the Vultures on the ramp. There is going to be another Storm on the other Vultures. But, I mean, realistically, where is Digda's army? Like, where is Digda's army right now? He's got a lot of probes that are completely walled in, so they're not doing any mining. He lost his 6 o'clock base. Here come the units. There's no mines. If he had mines here, this could be a different story. But there we go. Looks like all of the final units are going to go down from Whip. And Whip is going to be down to 13 supply. And he is going to tap out GG. And that's going to give Wico the 3-0 victory over DM. But of course, we still have one more game to go. And we're going to go into that when we get back after this short break. See you guys soon. Okay guys, welcome back. We're here with game number 4 between DM and Wico. Wico have taken the 3-0 win, but this game still counts towards the stats, so we are going to be heading into it. It's our first game on the map Paradise, made by Gosomi. A really fun map to play on, a really fun map to watch games on. Very reminiscent of something like Blue Storm with the way the map splits down the middle. Which means if this goes to late game, it could be a very long game, which is kind of cool. But obviously, given the fact it is a low ground main, the main is actually quite far away from the what do you call it? From the natural. It can be a little bit difficult to defend. So let's see how this goes as we get into game number 4. Okay, starting us off here in the top left-hand position, we do have the white Protoss player fighting for DM from Chile. It's Tech, one of their mainstays, all the way back from Season 1. And his opponent spawning down here in the bottom right as our Zerg player. It is going to be the yellow Zerg 973, but is that going to be the build that he's going for? It's 973 for Wico as our Zerg. Ayatollah on YouTube is saying font is a bit small. What's the font you're talking about? And I can see if I can make it a little bit bigger. I guess the font on the overlay is a little bit small. Hopefully if you full screen it'll look a bit better. Yeah, just in case you guys weren't aware, I'm actually multi-streaming this time on YouTube, Twitch, and Africa TV to give as many people the ability to watch as possible. So it's kind of cool. Okay, so we've got the pool coming in, so this is going to be an overpool. Which is a fairly standard build these days in TvP. Looks like Tech is going to get ready to go for... I think he's actually going to double gates here. Is he going to go Nexus first? No, surely it's going to be double gates, right? Oh, it's Forge. His Forge is just very late. He's delayed his Forge a lot here, and that's going to be a problem, given the fact the pool is already done. But it looks like Tech is going to do a pretty good job of blocking the hatchery, but doesn't manage to block it again. That's a little bit unfortunate for him. Definitely would have preferred to be able to get into there if he could. Some nice drone micro there by 973, getting as much damage on that probe as he possibly could. But Tech is kind of pulling a blinder here because he's going to get away with a very quick expansion. Like, this was a very late Forge. Like, that Forge was built around 300 minerals, I think it was. No gas as of yet. We're probably going to see, yeah, there we go. We're going to have the third hatchery here. Now, one of the features of this map, it's probably a little bit easier to see this. There is actually an egg that's blocking this expansion. So you can mineral walk through it. You can actually mineral walk on these minerals here as well to get through the egg, and you can expand. But this is completely open. So this area here is essentially in the middle of the map. It's kind of like a very outsider style base where it's a very easily accessible and easily taken third, but there's a risk. Like, it's not just a free third. Like, you have to defend it somehow. If you drop into that third as well, if you've not killed the egg, even if you have, there's only this one small gap to get units through to defend it. It's such a hard to defend base, but it's very easy to take. That's the trade-off. I guess technically, yeah, it's more like El Nino, but Outsider came first before El Nino did, which is why I say Outsider style. Now there is a mineral only that's sort of out in the middle. That does give you a staging ground to attack a little bit further forward. But it's obviously a little bit easier to defend. There's actually 3 very distinct paths through the middle of the map as well. You have the path around here, which goes up this ramp here. You've got the path in the middle that goes through this ramp here as well, and here. This is the quickest path, but it's also the most dangerous because you can't push up the ramp very easily. And then you've got these big sweeping high grounds, kind of like on Blue Storm, where there's massive ramps at either side, and they also lead to a base at the bottom of the ramp. Yeah, this is a really, really nice high ground. It looks so, so nice. Yeah, Gosami did a very, very good job decorating this map. Even like the little bits like this just look really cool. So we do have those 3 hatcheries up. We do have a Hydra Den coming in. Is this 973? 9... 7. He's going for his namesake. He's going for a 973. Let's see if it's gonna work. Tech should know this is coming. He needs cannons right now. He needs cannons as fast as he possibly can. The rush distance is deceptively long here. It is quite a short rush distance. Right, 2 additional cannons have been put up here. They're not right next to the wall either, so the wall is going to go down. Is he going to be able to get +1 off of his forge first? He doesn't have another gateway back at home either, so if he loses his gateway, he's not going to have any more units. And this is a rough position, but going 973 when that's your name is quite risky. But it may just work out here. The forge is not protected by anything. He is not going to be able to get +1 attack, I don't think. It's going to be close. The zealots come out. They do push the hydras away. Could this be long enough of a delay to be able to get this? He's going to get +1. Tech is going to be able to do it. +1 is so pivotal. And he's going to save his forge long enough to be able to do so. What a move by Tech, bringing out his zealots, soaking up a load of that damage. And now +1 damage is done. Speed is done as well. But there's going to be no more cannons. There's no second forge. He didn't rebuild his forge anywhere. And this is just 4 cannons against a 973. I'm not so sure about that one. But we do have an additional hatchery coming in. It's not the all-in version. He's also going for a hatchery at the expansion. He's going into 5 hatch. He started with a 973, but it was an economical 973, and now even the gateway can't actually build anything either. And yeah, the upgrade did finish, which is the most important moment in the game. Now, Corsair did go around, did take a little bit of damage, but did manage to get a scout off, which is important. He would have seen the lair coming up, although that may have gone up after he'd left. But he will have seen the other hatcheries, which is very, very important as well. the poor gateway, this poor zealot, he's stuck warping in. He's never going to be able to come in. Maybe it's for the best. Now we do have Ling scouts looking around everywhere, just seeing if he can find anything. Yeah, look how hard to defend this base is. And the other thing is, there's a single mineral. You'll be able to see it here, which is only 50 minerals. And if you open the... oh, sorry, there's 2 of them. And if you open those up, you've got a path into the middle of the map. But then your opponent has a path into your base as well. So if you ever feel like you're contained at the front of your base, you can go around the back. And that's one of the other things I really like about this map. And we have a lot of gateways here in the main. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 gateways. He is going to be going for a big timing attack. Now obviously he's not going to have +2 attack. I don't think he ever actually rebuilt his forge. And it looks like the probe is getting ready to expand, but I don't think he will do. The Ling actually checking for an expansion. I mean, the trouble is he can't really expand. Like, he can't defend this area against the Hydras. And here we go, looks like a big timing coming out here. There's a lot of zealots. He's going to try and get on top of the Hydras the best he can. But these Hydras are moving at 5 times the speed I swear they normally move at. They're speed hacking Hydras, and he's going to come back here, going to go to try and defend one of these bases. Could be forfeit. This is a ton of zealots. But there's no tech units with this, it's just zealots. It looks like he wants to transition out of this because he is going to go for double Forge, which is going to give him a lot of upgrade opportunities the late you go into the game. And this is still a lot of zealots here at the front of the base. There's over a control group. There is still a lot of Hydras. And look at that! Turning the Hydras into eggs to save them. And he needs the Lurkers anyway, so why not just do it? It creates a wall for these poor zealots who are going to be forced to go around. But he still has a ton of zealots here. There's more zealots running across the map as well. But this aggression will be put an end to as soon as those lurkers come in. And the first 3 lurkers have spawned. The zealot's going to run off into the main. Going to be able to get a couple of probes here, or a couple of drones even. Is this hatchery going to go down? That would be an incredible pickup for Tech if he can do it. But I don't think he's going to be able to do it. It's going to be very, very close. So yes, he is. He's going to be able to get the hatchery unless this lurker gets lucky. And there we go. The hatchery goes down. The zealots in the main have been cleaned up, but he got a good number of drones here, I believe. Not too many. Most of them did manage to get away. There's actually way more drones on this base than needs to be. Yeah, this is just Tech throwing his zealots at a brick wall at the moment. He is not going to be able to do any further damage. And this is going to be a problem. As soon as the lurkers start getting up there, we'll see a lurker contain. And we have seen very recently in a lot of pro PvZs that if you get lurker contained in PvZ, it is almost impossible to come back from unless you play absolutely perfectly. But look at this. Double Dark Templar going to be dropping into the main. There's absolutely no defense for this either. Tech is setting himself up for a very, very strong position. He's got 4 High Templar. They don't have any energy yet though, so he's going to have to wait. He cannot fight with this at the moment. The cannon is going to help defend against the lurkers. Drop in the main. There we go. He's going to drop in the main. 2 DTs coming down here. There is absolutely no vision of this whatsoever. Wico has... Oh, sorry. 973 has no idea this is happening, and this is so much damage. How many kills? 4 kills? 7 kills? Oh my goodness, this is so many dead drones. He could even get the Hydralisk in, that would be incredible. If he can focus this before the lurker can kill the... I think he should have just suicided, but he's going to pick them up, he's going to take them out, and he's going to come back another day. Although I think 973 will be ready. But yeah, 973 has a ridiculous number of drones. He lost so many there, but he's still at 47. He built drones off of all of his hatcheries, I think, there to re-drone. Now this Spire is actually blocking units from getting back here to defend against this, as well as the egg. So if he can maybe drop some DTs in there and kill this sunken colony, that would be incredibly powerful. But 973 going to get ready to expand once again. The Lurker Contain is continuing to grow out here outside the front of Tech's base. Tech has to play this incredibly gingerly. He has to push out with Storm. He has to push out with Dragoons. He has to kill the Hydralisk before they can get his observers here. And we did just see there is going to be a lurker drop coming into the main here, and that could be incredibly powerful. There's no observer back here. There's absolutely no form of detection at all. A cannon is being added, but way too late. The probes are going through the lurker spines. Oh my goodness, so much damage being done. 8 kills on the probe line. Definitely not what you want to be seeing here, and oh my goodness. Oh no, all of Tech's probes are going down from 50 probes. He's down to 14. Tech is going to be forced to all in here. There is absolutely nothing he can do about the power of the lurkers. 11 kills over here. 27 kills. Oh my goodness. A ridiculous amount of damage. Tech is going to go all in. He has to. He has to make this attack work. and this is the only move he has, but his observer is still there, but he's barely got any units left. He cannot replace them either. He's down to 5 probes against 53 drones, and it looks like Wico will be heading in to a relatively strong start to the STPL season here. Now, statistically, in the STPL, DM have been one of the lower ranked teams throughout everything, so it's not the end of the world for DM. They've still got a long way to go. They're actually playing against one of the stronger teams, and there goes the observer, and with no observer he can't see the units. He does have one more, but not enough units to deal with them. GG! And that is the end of game number 4. Okay, so we're just going to add the win for 973, add the win for Wico, and then we will head over and have a look at the results. Okay, so there we have it. That is the end of our first series of STPL Season 4, and for some reason, nothing is showing up again. Looks like I've somehow... There we go. We fixed it. We fixed it. We worked it out. It's all good. I wonder what this is. Looks like that was from the other screen. But yeah, there we go. So we did have a 4-0 sweep for Wico. Wico, one of the stronger teams coming into the STPL. DM were one of the weaker ones previously, but they put up a damn good fight. We had some very close games. And that is definitely a good win for Wico, though, to start them off. Smurfs taking down Pre. Last taking down SanDara. Digda taking down Whip in a very, very close PvT. And then 973 taking down Tech, which was incredibly close up until the point Lurkers killed all of Tech's probes. There we go. I mean, there's not too much else you can say about that, is there? I mean, that was... I would say that was a relatively good first series for this season of STPL. I'm kind of glad we did get it the way we did, because it's obviously a lot of fun to be able to bring you guys good STPL games. It's definitely something that I've enjoyed doing for a long time. Looks like my quest is being funny, so we can't actually switch to the camera. That's fine, we'll sort it. We are going to go for a quick break, and then when we get back, we are going to be heading in to series number 2. It's going to be, I think it's NetWars versus, who is it? NetWars versus Red, I believe. Is it NetWars versus Red, or is that next week? Whoever it is, it's fine, we'll figure it out. I'll be back in a few minutes, don't go anywhere. If you're watching this, you're watching the STPL. Hopefully you've been enjoying what you've seen so far. If you want to help me make more STPL content to bring more tournaments to you, please support us on Patreon, which you can find up here. And also, there's so many different things you can get through Patreon. One of the main and one of the easiest ones to get is, of course, access to all of the replays of the STPL so far. We've had some amazing games, such as some of the games you can see just over here.
Kick, punch, it's all in the mind. If you wanna test me, I'm sure you'll find the things I'll teach ya. Sure to beat ya. Nevertheless, you'll get a lesson from teacher. Now kick,
Kick, kick, kick, kick, kick, kick.
punch,
Punch, punch, punch, punch, punch, punch, punch.
jump,
Chop, 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 chop.
block.
Block, block,
Once
block,
more
block,
now,
block.
kick,
Kick, kick, kick, kick, kick, kick, kick.
punch,
Punch, punch, punch, punch, punch, punch, punch.
jump,
Chop, 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 chop,
and
chop.
block.
Block, 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 block.
Don't get cocky, it's gonna get rocky. We're gonna move down to the next jockey. Now duck,
Duck, duck, duck, duck, duck, duck.
jump,
Jump, jump, jump, jump, jump, jump.
turn,
Turn, turn, turn, turn, turn, turn, turn.
pause. Listen carefully, jump,
Jump, jump, jump, jump, jump, jump.
pause,
Ho, 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 ho. Duck, 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 duck,
and
duck.
turn.
Turn, 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 turn.
Yeah, I see you're getting better. Kick to the limit in order to get her now. Kick, punch,
Kick, 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 punch, 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 punch.
chop, block,
Chop, 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 lock, 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 lock.
chop, kick,
Chop, 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 kick, 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 kick.
punch, block.
Punch, 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 punch. Lock,
Gonna
lock,
get
lock, lock,
harder
lock.
now. Duck and jump,
Duck, jump, duck, jump, duck, jump, duck, jump, duck, jump, duck, jump, duck.
turn and pose.
Turn, 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 turn.
Duck and turn,
Duck, 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 turn, 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 duck, duck, turn, turn.
jump and pose.
Jump, 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 ho, 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 ho.
Come on now, why don't you follow my words because we're almost done. I'll make it easier first. I wanna see if you wanna see what it means to be the man with a master plan. Are you the man now? Here we go now. Kick, punch, block.
Kick, kick, kick. Punch, 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 punch. Block, 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 block.
Chop, kick, block.
Chop, 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 chop. Kick, 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 kick. Block, 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 block.
Block, turn and kick it.
Block, block, block. Turn, 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 turn. Kick, 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 kick.
Block, duck, punch.
Block, 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 block. Duck, 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 duck. Punch, 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 punch.
Duck, duck, turn.
Duck, 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 duck. Turn, 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 turn.
Jump, kick, chop.
Jump, jump, jump. Kick, 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 kick. Chop, 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 chop,
And
chop.
punch, punch, punch. That's it for today. Good job, Parappa.
Ridge Racer!
I am not your dad, man. Welcome back to the STPL. This is the second series, series of Season 4. I forgot now to speak English, I do apologize. The format, same as Season 3. If you're just tuning in for this series, I know NetWars is playing, so a lot of people are probably going to turn up. We are essentially going into best of 5, so 1 to 4, all the lineups are selected in advance, and all the games are played at the same time. And with the ace match, every player can play again. With this season, we've got 6 brand new maps, and we also have 2 returning maps from previous seasons, and the prize pool distribution is the same. We're currently sat at around $1,010, I think was the last time I checked, and that is obviously looking to improve. If you want to add 50 cents to prize pool completely free, courtesy of our wonderful sponsors at Matcherino, please do head over to the Matcherino link that will be posted in chat, and from there you can also do whatever you want. So you can add as much money as you want to, but you can add 50 cents for free, which is essentially what's pretty good. So now the only I've just meant. So let's head over. I'm gonna take you to the STPL studio. We'll go in to introduce the series once again, and then we can go from there. So this is the STPL studio. Welcome. If you're joining us for the first time, this is my VR chat avatar. I thought I'd merge my 2 interests together and just cast in my VR chat avatar, because why the hell not, right? And overall, we've got some 6 screens I've made up using areas from VR chat that I found. That Ridge Racer video just then, that was a world in VR chat. You can play Ridge Racer in VR chat, and it's pretty sick as well. So VR chat's free to download if you want to go do that. A big shout out as well to our sponsors, Esport Fund. Liquipedia didn't continue their sponsorship this season, which is a shame, but they also have TSL 6 to worry about. The Esport Fund, once again, bringing the heat. They've added $1,000 to the prize pool because we made $2,000 last season, and their sponsorship is most likely to continue moving forward as well. So that's pretty cool. Very good to have Esport Fund on board. Now, the only problem with doing this thing in VR chat is I actually don't know what's going on whatsoever outside of my VR headset right now. So I may not even be on the screen and I'm just talking to nobody, but hopefully we're not. Looks like it is working, but the interesting thing is this screen isn't showing it. There we go. So the 2 teams we're going to have here in this series are going to be red. So if I remember rightly, red is up here, NetWars is up here. They are going to be our 2 teams for this series. Red and NetWars have been around since Season 1 of STPL. NetWars have had very good successes, coming 3rd in the previous season, coming 2nd in a few other sort of season rounds and things like that in Season 1, and arguably one of the best teams in Europe. All, of course, coming from Poland. And then we have their opponents, Red, another incredibly long-running team. Red have been a German team for a very long time before branching out to letting other European people in, and a couple of Americans as well, and a couple of Koreans. So Red, overall, a very, very cool team to watch, and these two teams fighting against each other should be incredibly, incredibly fun. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to jump on over and have a look at the first of our two teams, making sure definitely on the right screen for everything. And here we go. So this is going to be NetWars. They are essentially the Polish national team when it comes to Brood War. They have been playing Brood War, all of them, I think, for a very long time. Some of them have chosen to play StarCraft 2 as well. Ziggy isn't playing this week, but I think the other four are purely just StarCraft 1 players. Zero, of course, Mr. Bombastic himself, and kogeT being the real... I mean, kogeT and Yeti as well being the real linchpins of the team. Like, both of them have done incredibly, incredibly well. So, there we go. But let's have a look at our second team as well. It's going to be Red. Now, Red... This is actually the wrong stats for the wrong best. It's the... Okay, so it's the right stats for best. But it's the wrong picture. So this isn't the Pro Gamer best. This is a different best. They are both Protoss, which makes it very confusing. But Ziggy isn't the clan leader this season. He is, however, not playing as well. He actually quit Brood War in SC2, but I think he started playing again. Yeah, there we go. Eriador, of course, Liquid Drone. He has been around since the dawn of StarCraft. And he is, like, everyone knows who Liquid Drone is. If you've followed Foreign Brood War for any period of time, Drone has pretty been active, pretty active throughout all of it. There was a period where he didn't play. I don't know exactly when that was, but he'll probably tell me, or someone else will tell me. But he is basically one of the longest running StarCraft gamers in the world, I would say. LML, really, really good player, did really well for his team last season. And Talent as well did pretty well as well. So let's have a look at the matchups we're going to be going into. We're going to start off with a ZVP between Venom and Best. That should be pretty fun on Rosen Bridge. So another ZVP on Rosen Bridge. We've actually got the same spawns as well. But things are... Oh, sorry, it's a PvP. Why have I put Venom down as a Zerg? Okay, we're going to have to reload the overlay. But that's fine, we'll sort that out during the next break. I messed up on his race, I kind of put it in quickly. Then we're going to have a PvZ, so it's going to be PvP first. Then we're going to have a PvZ between Yeti and Eriador, that should be good. A TvP between kogeT and LML, and a ZVP between Zero and Talent. So we've got a lot of good players. Let's have a quick look at the map as well, just in case you've not seen it before. This is going to be a PvP, so this game doesn't actually count that's on the screen. It's not the same best. It's a different best. Different best. They just have the same name, and it's picked up the wrong picture from my from the database. My apologies, guys. But essentially, Rosen Bridge is a really, really fun map. It should lead to some really interesting games. PvP is definitely going to be quite standard here, I think. I wouldn't really say that there's anything too crazy going on here, but we are going to go into game. What game is this? This is game number 1. It's Venom versus Best. Venom asking, is it not an island map? Yes it is. Yes it is, sir. But that's okay, he'll figure this out. So, spawning us off down here in the bottom right hand corner, As our blue Protoss player, who's not actually on the island, it's going to be Venom fighting for NetWars. And spawning up here in the top right hand corner is going to be the pink Protoss player fighting for red. It's best. So this is PvP. As I mentioned, I think PvP is going to be relatively standard on this map. I don't really think there's any reason why it would be insane. I know there's probably people who would sit there and say, you're crazy, Kicks. You don't know what you're saying about, but I mean, the only difference is you're going to have one person on a island and one person not. So there's just going to be a lot of drops, a lot of Reaver play, a lot of Templar play as well. The later the game goes on, I think the player on the island could have a little bit of an advantage, but it depends on how well the other player drops after that. And of course, Best is going to know he's on the island, so he's going to open 12 next. Which is perfectly safe, there's nothing that can attack him. So it's a 4-player map. The top right and the bottom left are island bases, and the top left and bottom right are... Did I say bottom right twice there? I meant bottom left. But the top left and bottom right are island, are non-island. And some kind of, a little bit embarrassing, but some kind of, what's it called? Firework went off outside and it just scared me. I hate when that happens. Why are people letting fireworks off now? Like, I could understand if it was Diwali, but that was last week. But there's no reason to still have fireworks at this point, you know? You should have either used them all or saved them for everything else. I realise I've not moved the camera much, I do apologise, I've just been trying to fix the overlay, and I believe I've just got that into a position where it's fixed, which is good. Back at home, we've kind of got a gate and a core coming up after the Nexus. Venom is going to find out that his opponent isn't in the top left, so he should look to expand very, very quickly. If anything, you should cancel these goons, because they're not really going to be doing anything for him. But of course, it's hard to tell when you're new to a map. And I mean, this is... I think, genuinely, this could be the weirdest map in Brood War Pro history, at least within the last 15 years. Like, maybe when you look at like 2003, there were some maps like Dire Straits, which were probably, I would argue, more weird than this, just because they were pure island. But I don't think there's ever been a map where it's been both an island game and a non-island game based on spawn. Lucky Noob and Creative saying in chat the firework is for the STPL celebration. That would be amazing. The good thing is, we now have the overlay, I believe. So the overlay should be working. There we go. We got the overlay back. Oh yeah, there was a 5-player map called Huang Subble. Wait, was that a pro map? Or was that the one that didn't get in? Because there was a map called Labyrinth that didn't make it into the didn't make it into the ASL, which had 5 spawns and had the flags that you could pick up, which gave your opponent vision over where you spawned. There was that, which was interesting. Now you'll notice that this Dragoon is going to take 1,000,000 years to kill this hive. This hive is also there. These hives are essentially placed strategically on the 4, not corners, but the 4 edges of the map, which gives the ability to essentially allow a Zerg player to build a Nidus late game, or mid game if they rush it. which they can do if they spawn on an island, for sure. We've got Robo Speed coming up here for best. We have the Robo finally coming in here for Venom. Venom is actually quite far behind on himself here, but this is because I think he didn't check the map before he played it, which is the problem. And yeah, these hives have 1,000 more health than a normal hive, according to Lucky Noob. It's to basically make it harder for Protoss and Terran to expand super quickly. And it helps Zerg. I don't think there is another hive underneath. No, there's only one hive. Oh. Someone in chat joking, making me look like an idiot. Yeah, the hives are there essentially to give Zerg the creep, and also they take ages to kill. Oh, it is a normal hive. Okay. So Lucky Noob is fooling me. This is what I get from my mod in chat, man. Just can't trust anyone anymore. Hives have 2,500 health. I guess it's because I barely ever see a hive. Lucky Noob saying he barely ever goes hive tech, so he doesn't know. Typical Zerg. Typical Zerg. LML asking him how does he play FFA without hive. He just ends the game before hive, man. Don't need to worry about hive if you just finish the game. Now there are observers coming up here. This is a PvP, of course. Looks like the shuttle is going to go down with 2 Reavers. This could be an incredibly important moment because these Dragoons are actually here in a perfect position to defend this. If he loses this shuttle and the 2 Reavers, that is going to put him in a very bad position. But look at this, the 2 Reavers dropping off. A lot of probes not being transferred away. Dragoons coming back to try and defend this. They'll be able to snipe the shuttle. And that's why he's going for the Reavers, because he knows the shuttle's going to die quickly anyway. He gets both of the Reavers, but loses 10 probes in the process. But is this worth it? He has observers. He's going to be able to scout his opponent, which is very good. But there's another Reaver coming out here. Another shuttle. But look at this. Venom making use of the fact he knows his opponent's on an island and he is going to go for the top left base. Now, if you didn't know this, there is a double base in the middle of the map which you can't really attack by ground. So if you have a ton of shuttles in PvP, you can take that base. But here comes another Reaver, another shuttle coming down here to the bottom right. There's no probes been pulled so far. He's not seen it just yet. Where are his units? He needs to pull the probes. Oh, that was a big scarab right there. That is not probes he can afford to be losing right now. And oh, that duds. Okay, that's a very lucky dud. 7 kills on this Reaver though. Although he is going to lose the Reaver now, which I don't know. I think that was worth it. You're ahead already. You're going up to your 3rd base already as well with the gas. This is a full gas, by the way. All of the gases on this map are full, if I remember correctly. And now he's 20 probes ahead. Basic maths are not my strong point, but the Reaver play by Best really coming in here. Are we sure this isn't snow and not fake Best? Is this not fake snow? Okay, double Reaver coming in here by Venom. The important thing that Venom has to remember is Best to build all these Reavers. He's got 4 Robos. He doesn't have that many other units. He has Reavers and that's about it. 4 Robo Reaver seems a little bit over the top. But he needs to do damage. He has to make damage happen here. Does he have the Reaver damage upgrade? Do either of them? I mean, the funny thing is, neither player is going to be killing each other with Reaver. Oh, there's another Reaver in the main base here. It does go down, but not before killing 3 Dragoons. Oh my goodness, and here comes another 2 Reavers. The Reavers just never end. I want to get off Mr. Reaver's wild ride. Oh my goodness, he has the damage upgrade as well. Every Scarab is going to be doing so much damage to Venom right now, and it's damage he cannot recover from, although he does have that third base. Here comes another Reaver. The Reavers are never ending. Oh my goodness. And they can't even... Look at this. The Reavers are essentially one-shot Dragoons at this point. But here comes the Reavers into the main base. He drops on top of a... Oh, that's a massive Scarab. But is it going to be enough? There's so many Reavers constantly dropping him. The only thing that he has going for him is this hidden base in the top right-hand corner. And Venom taps out. GG. Best takes game number 1. Yeah, 4 Stargate Scout would counter this. But yeah, that was Reaver versus Reaver. And one player just built 4 bases. Well, 4... thingies worth of Reaver, so I'll be back in a few minutes with game number 2. Don't go anywhere.
shadow threatening the safety of peaceful worlds. An evil scientist who frightens children and is bent on slavery. A giant robot has seized the peaceful world and carried it off. Aloha's evil plan is to turn it into a huge private retreat for himself.
Okay guys, welcome back. We're going to be going into game number 2. This time it's going to be on Desert Dwellers, the next of our new maps. It is a 2-player map, top left, top right hand spawns, and it's going to be a ZVP. Should be a lot of fun. So let's get into it. It's game number 2. Okay, starting us off here in the top left in the corner in the red, which is going to be very confusing, fighting for NetWars. We're actually going to have Polish colors in this game. It's Yeti as our Protoss player. And spawning us up here in the top right hand corner is going to be our white Zerg player fighting for red, Eriador. Okay, it looks like we've got Yeti getting ready to expand here. Fairly standard play in PvZ. There's a lot of chat today going on about freeing the Dodal. Because I asked Red to change their logo a while ago. Does that mean that, okay, the name of their clan is literally Shaved Cock and Balls. Right, it's literally Shaved Cock and Balls, right? And yeah, like, the logo was what you would expect for that clan name, right? And I was trying to, like, one of the things I've always tried to do with STPL is to be as serious as possible with the production. Like, I'm always trying to make it look really, really professional. I put a lot of work into, like, my overlays, my graphics and everything. And just having a dick on the screen is just a little bit much. Sorry, a shaved cock and balls on the screen is a little bit much. I think the elephant logo is very cute. It achieves the same thing. It achieves the same goal. Like, everyone knows what it is, right? But I don't have to put a shaved cock and balls on my screen to do it. That's why I asked you to change your logo, guys. And we did have the one that was, like, pixelated out before, which, to be honest, probably looked worse than the actual main one. But then you made the really cute elephant logo for me, so I've been using that since. I mean, so it looks like if you ever want to have people talking in your chat, you just ban a logo, and then you just get people saying unban the Dodal. I just unban it, unban the Dodal, free the Dodal. Yeah, so it is a PvZ. LML pointing out before, do people not actually look at the maps before playing them? And I genuinely think the answer to that is no in some cases. But if there's one team that have a massive benefit and a massive bonus going into this season, basically most of Red's main roster signed up to all of the map test tournaments. They've played most of the maps already, so they have an advantage here because they know how the maps play. Admittedly, most of the games were PvP and it was mostly LML versus Fisheye, but they still played on the maps. They had the insider advantage. We've got a Hydroden coming up here. Eriador going for a quick third base as well. Now, just to zoom out and have a quick look at how this map is kind of laid out, you have this very... why did I have to point this out? Look at the shape of this. It's the Dodal, but yeah, the STPL logo looks really, really nice on this. Minerals did a really, really nice job on this map. Oh my god, I can't unsee that now. There's a Dodal on the map. It's been freed. And the thing is, LML said this was a Dodal before, so maybe this is just the Dodal map. Like New Sniper or Sniper Ridge became the swastika map without meaning to. But it's only really a big deal outside of Asia. But yeah, this is the Dodal map. I guess this is what we have now. We have a Dodal map in STPL. Hopefully it's going to be a good one. I'm still waiting for them to put Sniper Ridge and Ladder, but they won't. Because it looks like a swastika. But here we go, we do have a Zealot in the main base. It does kill one drone even. Doesn't get the other one. This Hydra man, he's putting in work. Oh, is he going to get the drone? Yes, he does. Second drone, third drone goes down. And another Zealot comes in here. 2 drones down at the third base. Drone leaving himself a little bit undefended over here. Nice pullback on that drone. Looks like speed is just kicked. Nope, no speed on the Hydra. Oh, no speed on the Zealot just yet. Although that Zealot does go down as well. Yeah, Yeti with some really nice harassment there on the Doodle map. Which sounds incredibly bad, doesn't it? Yeah, the third bases on this map are relatively close, but these are mineral only, so there's no gas here. There is a gas base at the top. The gas is at the top of the screen up here. This base is pretty hard to take, given how close you are. It's kind of like spawning close positions, well, horizontal positions on Circuit Breaker. We've got a lot of cannons coming up here. Yes, he knows there's a lot of Hydras coming out. He knows there wasn't too many drones, so he knows that he's got to worry about saving his front here. Eriador definitely going to look to push the envelope a little bit, do a little bit of damage at the front. Now, are these bottom cannons? Is he going to depower these bottom cannons? Yes, he is. Luckily enough, there's another pylon coming in, but if Eriador goes now, he could possibly break this. No, he's left it a little bit too long. Not going to risk it. There is some more lings coming out to help this. 4th hatchery is coming up, along with the 5th one. Back in Yeti's base, we have the Templar Archives done. Storm is on the way. Zealot leg speed is on the way as well. 3 gateways now. 2 are currently up. 1 building. A 3rd one being added, so that'll be 4. And yeah, there's also another base at the bottom with a gas down the bottom here. So you can see the base at the top. Like, there is 8 minerals, I think, at the top base, but it's quite hard to take. And this bottom base is quite difficult to take as well. But if the map splits vertically, which is very similar to how Blitz X would split, those 2 maps are going to be incredibly important. Interestingly, no Stargate yet from Yeti, so Yeti's playing blind. He doesn't know what's going on right now outside of his base. Just more gateways being added. Our 3 Zealots going to come around here using the back path to try and get some damage down on the drone line. Going to pull back immediately. +1 attack was never finished, so he doesn't really have that strong Zealot timing attack ready. +1 is a very long way away. Having to kill the cannon. I don't think he needed to kill that cannon, but... More space up here for Eriador. Sorry, I do apologize. This is a little bit of a stamina thing for me. I've not casted for a while, and we're now 2 hours, 21 minutes in. The games have been pretty excited as well. It looked like goons fit, but apparently they don't, so he killed it anyway. I guess, well, they may fit, but it may be like a really awkward fit. But here we go, looks like we are going to have Hydras engaging onto Yeti's army. Not going to be able to find too much damage, you're going to actually lose a few. Yeah, it's kind of weird being back to casting. I thank all of you guys for tuning in, because it's better than rambling to myself. I've been looking forward to bringing the STPL back for a while. I also... Casting is a little bit difficult in terms of finding the energy to do it after work, but I do enjoy doing it, which is why I do. But it definitely makes it easier knowing that other people are actually watching and enjoying it. And especially if you're in chat and you're talking, it makes it a lot less lonely. I just need to get my voice used to casting again. It's been too long. And every game I casted over the last like 3 months has been a PvP. So essentially, I don't cast for longer than like 20 minutes. 20 minutes at a time. Oh my god. Eriador is going to try and take the 12 o'clock base. This is very hard to hold. But given the fact he does have so many lurkers... Oh, that's a nice storm. Like, this is the problem. Like, this is a very close base to where Eriador is. And by moving all of your army here, you're leaving this base open to attack. Now, there's actually 2 avenues for attacking here, top and bottom. And this is actually high ground as well. So if you can get a position here, you're in a pretty good position. Well, that goes without saying, you're in a good spot. Now it looks like Yeti getting ready to take his 4th base as well. There is going to be a single Ling that's going to be able to scout this out. But the way Yeti has his units positioned, it's going to be very difficult for Eriador to actually go and attack him anywhere. So Yeti definitely with a very good position. A very nice storm at the top of that ramp there. Fighting on top of the STPL logo. Yeah, the Sunken here can hit the ramp, I'm fairly certain. A Sunken up here I don't think can. But looks like we are going to have Yeti trying to come in here. I think this is a little bit of a wasteful play. I don't think he's really going to be able to do too much here. He does have an observer, but he's losing a lot of High Templar there without using his storms. And a lot of his units go down, but supplies are dead even. He's going to be forced to fall back to the top of his ramp here, which is going to be... I mean, this is hard to push across. Like I said, it's hard to take this base, but it's really hard for either player to push down here. And there we go, that's another nice storm. Looks like he is going to be able to clean out this base. No harassment going on the right hand side of the map, which is something I'd like to see here, but he is going to be able to break in. He's going to kill the overlords here as well, and he's going to get into a position where he can attack the hatchery without the lurkers being able to attack him. Is he going to get this? I think he is. Looks like +2 attack is done. No, +1/1. And there we go, he gets the hatchery for about 5 dragoons. Maybe not worth it, but does pull back. And while this is going on, he's secured his 4th base. And Eriador has spent a lot of units trying to defend.
STPL does.
How did I just hear a... Wait, what was that? Oh my god, thank you BrainoJack for the $20 donation, man. That means so much. I was like, where does that text-to-speech thing come from? Did that show on stream? Oh, okay, it did show. Sorry, I completely missed it. I'd usually see it in the right-hand screen, but I didn't notice anything. But it looks like Eriador getting in a very good position over Yeti's army. Yeti kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. And yeah, I did forget how I had my stream set up. It's because I can't see OBS on my main monitor, that's why. But Eriador is going to break into this base here, and he is going to be able to take down this Nexus, as well as a good number of probes who are struggling to get away here. And Eriador is pretty heavily defended, so it looks like the probes are going to be able to get away, but this is 400 minerals. The Yeti is not going to be able to get back. There's no Templar down here to defend this base. And looks like Yeti going to slowly start to add them on again, but he needs more, and he needs them quickly. So now the tables have flipped a little bit here. Yeti was looking in a very strong position after taking out this base, but with losing his 4th base, Yeti is going to be forced into a bad position here. Now this base should be relatively easy to hold on to with a High Templar on the high ground. He cannot afford to take a full-on army to a full-on army engagement here. This is a lot of Hydras, and he doesn't want to have to deal with that right now. Now there's a lot of Sunkens coming up at 12. Hive is on the way. Queen's Nest is done. Now Queens are definitely something we could see from Eriador. The Observer getting sniped here, which is a pretty big deal. There's no lurkers up here, but still it makes things a little bit harder for Yeti to push across the map. And he's definitely going to be looking to try and find a little bit of damage, but cannot overextend. If he overextends, this could very well be game over. He doesn't have that many High Templar, and every single Templar, every single Storm is absolutely pivotal. Now there's a Spore here as well. He's not going to be losing to any DT drops or anything like that. And for a second there, I thought we were going to have a big engagement. Looks like he's going to try and go for some Storms. The Hydra's coming forward. A lot of them. Oh, no, he misclicked. How many Storms was that? Like 3 Storms in the same place? 2? That's energy he can't afford, but looks like he is going to open up a path to get down to this bottom right-hand base. And if he can get down to that base and cut it off, that's a lot less income for Eriador, who's still sitting pretty on his 4 or 5 bases. But if a Zerg gets a 5th gas and goes into Hive like he's going to, that's going to be difficult. And there is a big drop coming in here at the top of the map. What an incredible move by Eriador. There's barely any units back here to defend. Every single unit the Yeti has is out here in the middle of the map. He is going to go for a base trade, but I don't think that's going to work. Yeah, you can magic box to cast more than 1 Storm at the same time, but unfortunately he misclicked. Yeah, his main is going to be in trouble here. He's going to be trying to push up to the high ground. Let's see if he can make it in here. Eriador is in a very strong defendable position at the top of these 2 ramps. It makes it very difficult to push here, and it makes me wonder if this was a big blunder here by Yeti. He wants to try and make his way through. He wants to kill the army of Eriador, but he's losing his main in the process. A Storm going down here at the back. Another great Storm as well, but all of Yeti's army is evaporating here. And the main is going. The main is dying. There's 2 unpowered gateways here. The Robo's going to go down. There's no more Observers. The Core is going to go down. There's going to be no more Dragoons. This is checkmate. There is nothing that Yeti can do about the overwhelming power of Eriador now. I mean, a High Templar coming out here, it does manage to get 2 Storms off, but how do you defend your main? Does he even have a single Observer on the map anymore? I don't think he does, and he can't build another one. And there we go, GG. Eriador takes game number 2 and ties... No, he takes red up 2-0. We'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Hello, Major League fans. This is Michael Beard. The Angels have a new lineup for the first game. Team Rag 2. We gotta go. One out. Team Right 1. There's the pitch. Change. The Angels. This inning.
Okay guys, welcome back. We are going into game number 3. We are going to see the return of kogeT to this map a year and a half later from when he last played it in the STPL. He's going to be up against another Protoss. It's kogeT, the Polish powerhouse himself, against LML for red, the captain from Season 3, who is one of their linchpins of their roster. It's going to be a great game. Let's head into it. Okay, starting us off here in the top, or the bottom left-hand corner of Pathfinder, it's going to be in the blue, fighting for red, it's LML. And his opponent spawning down here in the bottom right-hand corner, it's the Polish powerhouse himself, rank 3 in the STPL rankings overall. It's kogeT, fighting for NetWars. Okay, so how are we going to see this map play out? We saw a really good PvT between Whip and Digda on this map before. Went for 35 minutes, I think it was. Really, really good, really fun game. And I mean, these two players are both relatively standard players in the respective matchups, so we could have another long game on our hands here, which would be pretty fun. We've had a pretty good first day of the STPL Season 4, I would say. It's actually getting quite late for a lot of our European viewers, including quite late for me, so there will probably be a bunch of people having to disappear, but if you do have to go anywhere, do not fear, because the STPL VOD will be available on YouTube immediately, I think it is, after the cast, and I will edit it down and upload the videos separately as well, as always. Now kogeT unfortunately is going to scout his opponent last, so he's not going to be able to get anything here. Whereas LML is going to scout first. I mean, it's not the biggest of deals, especially in PvT, when both players are playing so standard, but LML is going to find kogeT is doing a really greedy expand here. He's going for a 1-Rax fast expand. And he's doing it on the low ground. On Pathfinder, that's very difficult to do. He's going to be up against gate range. He's going to scout this as well. He's very lucky there's not 2 gates here. He's lucky there's no Zealot as well. But you can just see how annoying a single probe can be. He has to respect the probe. He cannot just leave it to its own devices. We do have that bunker coming in here. Now, this is a map you can actually wall in on as Terran. You can make a link-tight wall in every position, I believe. This one is a little bit weird, but you have to do like barracks, sorry, depot, barracks, but the other ones are all link-tight fairly easily. It's one of the reasons why I used to play this map so much on IC Cup, because I can actually wall in. I used to like walling in. Walling in was my thing. I felt safe if I could wall in. Okay, do we have any additional tech coming in? No, just the Nexus coming in for LML here. But he is going to be behind economically just because the command center was so fast here by kogeT and in the right position as well. The factory going to come out at the right area. Yeah, essentially like LML isn't going to be able to attack into this very easily. kogeT is still alive with his SCV in the main base, by the way, which means he is getting a lot of free information that LML definitely does not want to be giving him. LML cannot really, if he wants to hide his tech, go for anything right now. It looks like kogeT's even going to be able to get his SCV out of the base if he's lucky. No, he is going to suicide it, but you'll notice that the Robo will probably go up straight away after this. Is he going to go for Robo or is he going to go for DTs? Oh, it's actually proxy. It's a proxy Robo. You know what would be very good here? Is if he just builds a Reaver and walks it to the bunker. kogeT's tanks are going to be so late, you can see that siege mode is only just now starting. And the first tank is halfway done. If he gets in here with a Reaver at the right time, he can Reaver down the bunker, and then the Dragoons kill the tank and he wins the game. This is a very strong timing attack. The first example I can remember of seeing it recently was Snow versus Flash on Gladiator, where Snow built the Reaver just outside of Flash's main base, outside of his natural even, and just walked the Reaver over. Now the trouble is, because of this high ground, it makes it a little bit harder to do that, but I think that's what we're probably going to see here. The Robo Bay is done. The first Reaver is on the way after the shuttle, so it's not going to be a walk the Reaver up. It is going to be a proper Reaver push. You can actually drop the Reaver on the high ground and shoot the tank without it being able to shoot back as well, so that's definitely something to look out for. Now interestingly, when we saw Whip play this map, he played it incredibly drop heavy, whereas kogeT has skipped or foregone the starport. He's actually going to play this a little bit more standard, and he's going to go into Goliath to defend against drops from his opponent, as well as go for a very, very fast +1 as well. Here we go, the first Reaver's out, going to jump into that shuttle here. Shuttle speed is coming up as well. Third gateway on the way. And pylon wall just to defend against essentially Vulture run-bys, so he's doing really well. Nice turret positioning by kogeT here. The shuttle's going to go down. That was very, very nice turret positioning by kogeT there. Oh my god, that's a big Scarab though. Now this Zealot is still alive. It's actually killing the tank. Now this Reaver is not going to be able to get out, but if he can get a big Scarab off before he... Oh, there we go, he dies. I was going to say, if he got a big Scarab off before he died there, that would be incredible. But another shuttle is coming in. Now LML is going to go for third base here. This is the pocket expansion. It's very easy for him to defend. We saw Whip was struggling a little bit with it before in the last game, but this is different positions. It's the furthest place, essentially, away from kogeT. And there's the starport. Now we do have a lot of units here from LML. He's waiting for... Oh, he's actually going to wait for observers. He's not even going to go with another Reaver. But essentially another shuttle shouldn't be able to get in here. There's not really any avenue of being able to come in. He could come in here and maybe drop here. But then that's in range of the factories, so you don't really want to do that. Science facility coming up already, so that's going to be for a very, very quick vessel. He's not going to go for any dropships most likely at the moment. We do have a Citadel coming in, so it is going to be able to play coming up after this, but there's still no Stargate just yet. kogeT checking for the third base. Oh, sorry, I clicked on the wrong person. Yeah, so he checks for the third base here. Very important that he sees that. Now he doesn't actually have that many scans. He's been very diligent scanning to check what the Protoss player is doing. But this facility isn't going to be for vessels, it's going to be for fast +2. He could go for vessels, that wouldn't necessarily be a bad choice, but LML going to get ready to secure a fourth base as well down here at the 6 o'clock. This shuttle's still alive as well. kogeT hasn't really had any opportunity to leave his base. You can see he's in a very defensive position still. He's got tanks defending, and he's getting ready to take his third base. So he's just going to wait for a 2-1 timing push. He's not going to try and get out of his base anytime soon. I mean, there's no real reason for him to do so, but it's just something to watch out for. No Templar Archives just yet. Templar Archives a little bit late here for LML. Maybe a little bit uncharacteristic, I would say. I mean, he could be skipping it and going for a big timing push, but I mean, if you're going to get this tech anyway, I don't know why you wouldn't just go for the Templar Archives. Looks like he's going to try and come in from behind and go for the third base here. Now, there's not actually that much to defend, but there is a tank on the high ground and these depots that can defend this without too much hassle. You need the shuttle over here really to come in and punish this tank before you can get through anywhere. Scans coming down from kogeT, checking the tech, sees no Templar Archives at the moment. So I think he's going to be feeling pretty good about that. And somehow, LML has managed to sneak an observer in to the main base here. And there's one in the third base as well. So LML has pretty much the perfect vision for what he needs at this stage in the game. He sees both armories, he sees the third base, and he knows exactly what kogeT's doing. Now, this engineering bay is likely going to get taken down here by the Dragoons being diligent with their scouting. Definitely good to kill this, makes it, kind of forces... Oh, he doesn't get it, he doesn't move forward far enough to kill it. Oh, so kogeT's going to save it. kogeT going to start mining up parts of the map he can actually get to. Interestingly, he runs out rather than just going straight out of the gap, which is a lot faster. But he's going to find a cannon down here, shouldn't really find too much damage. We'll get a couple of probes though. 3 probes, 4 probes. Can he get a 5th? I think he should be able to, but no, he's not. Still 4 probes, very respectable. He's got an SCV lead over the Protoss at the moment, which is not normal, especially given how early LML's expansion timing for his third was. But he's done enough. LML has kind of been busy doing so much else that he's not been building as many probes as maybe he needs. Like, he's going for a 4th base, but I don't think he realistically has enough probes right now to fully saturate all of his bases. It's not the biggest of deal, and it does mean that his army is going to be a lot bigger than a normal Protoss army at this stage in the game. And that makes things even harder for the Terran. I mean, the Terran is going for 2-1 timing attack, and if you get that crushed, it's pretty much game over. What the heck did I just do there? Accidentally tabbed into into thingy and clicked the wrong button. But here we go, looks like we are going to have a big engagement. Looks like he wants to push just before +2 is done, but he's a little bit too late. The Zealots coming in behind on the back tanks here, not dropping off in the best locations, but still getting a decent amount of damage on these tanks done, and most of the Dragoons survive. And that is going to delay kogeT's push a little bit, but is it going to be enough? That's a lot of army to be losing as LML. And that's really rough. LML, I don't think, did enough damage here. He needs to delay this Terran push, but he also needs to make sure he doesn't lose all of his army, because without any army, you're not defending against the follow-up push that's still going to be coming. Okay, so we've got an Arbiter coming in here. He really could have needed that Arbiter before. Like, if he'd have gone for his Templar Archives at the right time, I think that would have maybe looked a little bit different. I mean, it did look like he was intentionally trying to muscle his way through, but the Zealot drops just didn't do as much damage as they needed to on the back line. And that meant with the 2-1 attack from kogeT, he was just doing way too much damage on this Dragoon line. Now 3-2 is on the way. And once that's in, it makes it very difficult here. kogeT doing a very good job defending this part of the map. This is very hard to get through. I mean, a single tank is not going to defend it forever, but it's a good delaying tactic, and that's exactly what kogeT needs. kogeT has pretty much vision over every other base on the map other than the ones that LML has. So kogeT is in a fantastic position here. He's going to push forward before 3-2 is done. He senses his weakness here. 2-1 is still a very, very strong upgrade boundary to have. He was going for a 2-1 push anyway. By pushing out into the middle of the map, he's going to defend his 4th base. This is the perfect move for kogeT to be making right now. That first Arbiter is out now. That's going to be a very pivotal piece in this game of chess here. Looks like LML going to go forward again. He does have his Arbiter with him though. Admittedly, there is a Vessel. But once again, is this just going to be ill-fated? LML definitely looking in a strong position, but all of the Zealots are gone. And with no Zealots, look how quickly all of these Dragoons melt. He's only on 4 bases. He doesn't have like a 6-base economy where he can trade army into army over and over again. But this is an anti-timing here by kogeT. Gonna unsiege, move forward, but he still sieges. He still gets a ton of damage done. And it looks like this could very well be it for LML. LML is down by 40 supply. kogeT's army is just going to continue to grow here. And I think this could very well be game over. LML needs to be able to expand, but with no army, he can't stop kogeT's push. He just can't do it. And this looks like very well, like this could be the death throes of the Protoss in this game. kogeT definitely not making the same mistake we've made before. He is building up a strong army, and he is going for a big push. And LML just does not have the army, he does not have the economy, and he definitely does not have the upgrades to be able to deal with that. Look at how much damage that D-Matrix soaked as well. kogeT showing why he's the Polish powerhouse in this game, showing why he's one of the best Terran players outside of Korea. The Arbiter are even going to go down. He does get a stasis field down, but only on 3 tanks and a Vulture. 2 tanks and 2 Vultures, sorry. And that is not going to be enough. The only thing left for LML to do in this game is type the 2 Gs and take it to game number 4. And it looks like kogeT is bringing NetWars back on the comeback trail. Because if kogeT had lost this game, that would have been a 3-0 victory for Red. I think LML is probably going to be a little bit disappointed with how this game went, but there was just a few mistimed attacks, it feels like, that just didn't go in at the right time. The 4th base is gone. The Terran army getting bigger and bigger down here. And yeah, yellow has everything on the map here. GG, LML taps out, and kogeT takes us to game number 4 with red up 2-1. Be back in just a few seconds, guys. See you soon.
Ridge Racer!
さらば地球よ旅立つ船は宇宙戦艦ヤマト宇宙の彼方イスカンダルへ運命背負い今飛び立つ必ずここへ帰ってくると手を振る人に笑顔で答え銀河を離れイスカンダルへはるばる望む宇宙戦艦ヤマト さらば地球よ愛する人よ宇宙戦艦ヤマト地球を救う使命を帯びて戦う男燃えるノーマン誰かがこれをやらねばならぬ期待の人が俺たちならば銀河を離れイスカンダルへはるばる望む宇宙戦艦ヤマトOkay guys, welcome back. We are here for game number 4, Red versus... we're not going into Pathfinder again, I actually forgot to add the win to kogeT there. This is going to be Zero versus Talent.
STPL is back.
Thanks
Yay.
Shad for the subman, means a lot. You get your cool bronze badge now. But there we go, so it is going to be another ZVP on this map. We had one just before with 973 taking down Tech. But still, we've got a fairly good couple of players coming up here. We've got Talent, but does he have any? Fighting for Red, the American, against Mr. Bombastic himself, Mr. Zero. And it is going to be a fun matchup. So... let's get into it. It's game number 4. If Talent can win here, Red will take down NetWars 3-1. But if Zero can win, we will be going to the ace match in only our second match of the STPL Season 4. Let's get into it.
Easily amused, huh?
Thank you, Blue Bits. Big Blue Bits for the sub as well. Means a lot. So starting us off here in the top right-hand corner in the blue. Fighting from Poland for NetWars. It's Mr. Zero himself, Mr. Bombastic in the blue. And his opponent spawning down here in the bottom right-hand corner in the white. Fighting for Red. It's Talent from the US of A. Okay, so another ZVP on this map. We've only had ZVPs here so far, apart from the... I think the map test tournament on this map was literally nothing but Protoss players. Looks like Zero stopped all of his drones or something there for a second there. I don't know if that was me seeing things, but I feel like his drones weren't moving, which is a little bit of a mistake if he did that. Oh yeah, Rheinmetal, you played this as well as Terran. It's just because there was so many Protoss players in the map test tournament, I just forget that other players played. Yeah, forward gate is pretty good on this map in PvT. Okay, so we're gonna have a Forge Fast expand here by Talent. Does not surprise me whatsoever. And I only remember Protoss confirmed. I only remember Protoss because there's so many of them. Did you see Artosis made like a video about how is there 40% Protoss players on the ladder or something? There must be a reason for this. Was that real or was that like a meme that someone made? There was like a pie chart as well, wasn't there? I think I saw it on Reddit yesterday, but either way, it's kind of funny. I must admit, the stuff coming out of Artosis' channel recently has been gold. Like all of the videos of him getting mad, all of the videos of him going through people's like unban requests and stuff. It's just funny. Like, Artosis is a really, really cool dude. He's definitely Definitely one of the most interesting StarCraft streamers to watch, I think. I never really get to watch his streams because he streams when I'm asleep, which sucks. But I live vicariously through the clips. Tasteless streams a little bit more when I can watch, but it's usually when I'm working. So we've got a few links coming out here. ZZZero pushing forward. Not really too much crazy going on back in his base. He's only on 2 hatcheries at the moment. Probably going to go for a third at his third base, which he is. Looks like no major decisions have really been made by either player just yet. 3 hatch can obviously mean anything. Is he going to play aggressive from this, or is he going to go for a lair? We won't find that out for a little bit. He needs to try and stop this probe as well before he does anything, because he doesn't want to show anything to his opponent. There's a lot of lings out here. There's only 1 cannon. I think if he'd have gone right then, I think he could have broken the cannon, but given all the probes are back here, he may be able to hold on to this, but no, 3 Zerglings do get into the main, and this is going to be very annoying for him to deal with. He doesn't have a single unit. Where is this Zealot? Did he just get a really late gateway? By the way, Art of Turtle used to play Terran. He actually plays on Ashe now. He's one of the their co-captain, or one of them for STPL. But he actually, yeah, he used to play Terran when I first met him. This probe is still alive, by the way. Talon has just got a ridiculous amount of information here. One thing can't do anything. He may have just got a second probe there. Oh, the probe. Oh, he can attack a probe through there. Oh, he doesn't get it though. It's still alive. Here we go, the Zealot is going to pull back. He is going to be able to secure his wall now, which is good. You definitely don't want to have lings running into your base. Now, unlike when we saw the PvZ, Tech didn't... Wait, did Tech go... Tech... Was Tech the player who skipped Stargate on this map?
Easily amused, huh?
Yahoo!
Well, thanks, Echo, for the 12-month resub, man. Good bit of family nepotism going in there. You get your gold badge. Oh no, you don't, because you're a founder. Good old nepotism. Yeah, it reads them out. But yeah, there we go. So the Corsair coming in, gonna get the additional scout that Talent needs. I mean, Zero isn't doing anything too crazy. He's not going for a Hydra Bust or anything, going up to 5 hatcheries. Gonna be playing... gonna essentially be playing a standard game, and I've forgotten how to use English now. It's 3 hours into the cast, and it's the first cast I've done that's this length in about 6 months. So we're slowly losing our minds over here. But the good thing is we're making it through it. We're making it through it together. We've had a lot of really fun games here today. And I think overall it's been a pretty good first day back for the STPL. You get a cooler gold badge. You get the founder badge. I don't even know, like, Hirmu is a founder. and you're a founder. I don't even know who the others are. I don't think they even watch me anymore. So you're like one of a very elite crew, as well as being a member of my family. Yeah, there is a DT clearing out the lings outside the front of the base. Just going to kind of limit the Zerg's vision as much as possible. You'll notice that if we look at Zero's vision here, he doesn't really see much at all. Just a single ling down here in the bottom middle. There's a lot of Hydras coming out here. They don't have any upgrades just yet. +1 still isn't finished either for Talent, so Talent definitely delayed his upgrade a very, very long time, spending most of his gas going into not even +1 Corsairs, so I do wonder where his gas is. He's only just now getting Storm as well. It feels like he's behind normal PvZ here at all. But here we go, there's only two cannons. Is he gonna lose to this Hydra Bust? This is the world's latest Hydra Bust, but he's coming in before Storm's done. He's not gonna be able to defend this. There's too many Hydras. The Corsair's coming back trying to kill the Overlord. Because he know the Storm is done, but he storms the wrong location. And GG, that's it. Talon taps out, and Zero takes us to the ace match, which is going to be coming up shortly after this short break. See you guys very soon.
There's been a kidnapping. It's Rachel, the daughter of the president of Cercia. Get into the castle and rescue Rachel.
Sometime, somewhere, someone is plotting a government overthrow. A small republic is in danger. It's time for the one-man army. Richard Miller. She must be dead by now.
Don't come!
Rachel McPherson.
Since you have traveled so very far, be my guest and let me entertain you.
Cherudo Gatto. Just to be sure. Wild dog.
This nation will soon be mine. The taste of revenge is sweet. Your father will pay the price for destroying the Imperial rule. What happened?
We've been invaded.
What?
Never mind. My men will gun him down. There! Shoot him!
Okay, let's not do that. Let's go in to quickly introduce the map. So I've just broken everything because now my VR headset is on and it doesn't like me using this. So enjoy my avatar looking like crazy right now. What the hell is going on with my mouse? Here we go. Let's have a look at the map. We're going into the ace match between Red and NetWars. You've just seen the bad thing about trying to swap in and out of VR to do this kind of thing. So whatever, we'll figure that out afterwards. But it's all well and good. Essentially, a copyright infringement map. I mean, technically, yeah, maybe. But this map is called Charmander. It's a brand new map made by Minerals. It's a very, very fun map. It's 4-player, very, very standard. Not really too much to say other than this is our first game of the season on it. This is going to be a ZBT. But let's get into it. It's kogeT versus Eriador here in our first ace match of the season. Okay, starting us off here in the top left-hand position, we have in the grey, fighting for red, it's Eriador. And his opponent spawning down here in the bottom right-hand corner in the yellow, fighting for NetWars, it's kogeT, the Polish powerhouse. And yeah, Shad, I own a Quest and an Oculus Quest 2. I own both of them. I bought the Quest in April, bought the Quest 2 just now, and, well, a month ago. And I really like VR. VR is amazing. I would definitely recommend it as a great way to play games. If you were going to get between a Rift and a Quest 2, buy a Quest 2. The Rift is good because you can play it via cable. But you can play the Quest 2 via cable as well, and it's got a better screen, like a way better screen. The Rift S just isn't worth it, and you can play Quest 2 completely wirelessly as well. I connect to my PC via wireless, work perfectly. Hey Jack, good to see you, man. So we do have a gas coming in here from Eriador, from kogeT even. Looks like kogeT gonna go for a wall in here. Now, just because we haven't seen this map yet properly, there is a third base, which is a mineral only, and that is a temple here, which is covered. It basically blocks you from expanding right to it. You get 5 mineral patches, and then you have the normal lateral, which is a gas base. You do have a small choke that you can actually wall in, which is pretty good. But other than that, it's a relatively standard map. If we zoom out, you can have a look at the nice logo work that Minerals did here. Didn't think about the C&D, but there we go. Yeah, here comes the lawsuit. No one tell Nintendo. But yeah, this is a fairly standard map. We'll look at it from this view. We've got 4 bases that are, well, 3 bases that are incredibly easy to take in the top, or in all 4 corners. You move out a little bit and you have this quite hard to take 4th gas or 3rd gas. And if you go down here, you have this relatively easy to take 3rd gas, but it's definitely not as easy as maybe something like Fighting Spirit. It's very reminiscent of something like Ground Zero. Okay, we do have two starports coming up here for kogeT. So kogeT is going to be going for a very aggressive play here. kogeT kind of known for this in the foreign scene, given how good he is with these 2 starports. Two-port Wraith, definitely a strong build against Zerg, but if there's one player in the STPL that must have had more practice against two-port Wraith than anybody else, it's probably Eriador. Given he started playing basically before the game, like, it's almost like he started playing before the game came out, essentially, because he was playing from vanilla, and everyone really got into it in Brood War. And back then, when everyone was playing one base, two-port Wraith was a relatively, not common build, but it was a thing that people did. The third base location is going to be uncovered by Eriador, of course. That is just a mineral only, so it's not going to give him any additional gas. But we've actually got Eriador going for the Hydralisk in. He knows that something's up. He saw no second base. I don't think he saw the starports. Yeah, he wouldn't have seen the starports. But he knows kogeT's play. Everyone knows kogeT's play in the foreign scene now. He's so good. It makes it a bit difficult to pull stuff like this off, but if kogeT can control this properly, he should be able to end the game with this. Although it is very difficult. If someone knows what they're doing against two-port Wraith, it shouldn't do any damage whatsoever. But even if you know what you're doing, if you get unlucky, or if the opponent outplays you, then you're not going to win. But here we go, he's going to get the first of the Overlords. This is going to supply block Eriador even more than he already is. He's going to go for a couple of drones here if he can. He's going to go for another Overlord, and this is just going to start to add up. But here we go, some of the links actually get in. This is something that kogeT pointed out to me afterwards, which we're going to have fixed on the map. You can build a link-type wall in the top spawns, but not the bottom. But because he built the Vulture, he's still going to be fine. So it's not the end of the world. But he does have to take his attention off the Wraiths while he did that. Yeah, they definitely didn't micro Wraiths like this back in 1998. The Wraith micro that you see now is kind of like Muteless micro. They control very similar to Mutas, but they do barely any damage. Now kogeT looks like he's kind of hit the peak of what damage he can actually do. There is an Overlord down here in the bottom right. I don't know how this got in the base, I wasn't really looking, but there is spores now, so these Wraiths shouldn't really do anything. He's got Cloak ready, but he's not using it yet. At least I'm almost certain he went for Cloak. Did he cancel Cloak? I don't know, there's no reason for you to cancel Cloak here. Cloak Wraiths are always good. Yeah, versus air, Wraiths do all the damage, as Lucky Noob points out. But against ground, they're basically shooting peas at people. They're like kids at school firing spitballs at people. Yeah, LML, that was... In the map test tournament, essentially, if you weren't watching the streams, there was a couple of mineral patches that couldn't be mined properly. And what the cause of that was essentially a misplaced bit of pathing that he missed. That was all. Yeah, the mineral patches are fixed now. It wasn't the doodad. It wasn't the doodad. Freakling even said it's just a mispathing thing. There was a doodad in all four corners. It was just the pathing. Like, I learned a lot about map making because of the map test tournament. Like, Freakling took me through everything. And this map tile set is the worst to build with. It's why there's barely any Ash World tile sets. Like, there's, like this, if you don't do this properly, there's like a million drop spots. Yeah, pathing is just impossible. I have, like, map makers are geniuses. If you ever see a map maker, please give them, like, as much respect as you can. They can't fix it. No, they do mine. It's just the fact is that they mine at weird pathing angles and stuff. Like, if you try and fix something like that, you could break everything. Yeah, one of the Wraiths has finally gone down, so that's definitely a bonus here for kogeT. kogeT has managed to take his expansion, and he's going from two-port Wraith into tanks, into bio. So this is a very, very normal transition. Going back into bio after wraiths is probably one of the more common ways of doing this. Sometimes you can actually do it off of one base and you go for a big all-in. But looks like he does just want to play a macro game from here. He's going to see if he can do that. He's done a lot of damage with his wraiths so far. Like, Eriador has done a very good job. Like, he has a ton of drones. Like, he's on 36 drones despite losing a ton to the wraiths. But he's still healthy. But the issue is he healthy enough to deal with this big timing push that's going to be coming out of kogeT when range and stim is done with medics and marines? Because you don't want hydras against medic marine. It can work, but you need upgrades, and you need, like, ensnare is like the king against bio. Ensnare is so good against marines. Look at this. kogeT gonna come in, do some more damage. kogeT is just picking the drone lines apart here by Eriador. It doesn't, even though he's so prepared, kogeT's just not losing any wraiths at any point. This is crazy. His micro is so good. Yeah, map making is definitely something that I think a lot of people, especially me, does not understand at all. Like, the mining issues and stuff that map makers fix, especially freakling, is just insane. It's just ridiculous how hard it is. It amazes me how well some of these maps are that have been made. And some of them do still have problems, but they'll get fixed. It's all well and good. Like this, like I think this doodad isn't tight at the top, which is why this broke. But like Minerals spent hours and hours on his maps. Like, it's insane how much work he put in. But here we go. Here is that big timing attack coming from kogeT. Is there going to be enough units from Eriador here to really push this back? kogeT isn't planning on transitioning out of this. He's not going for +1 armor. Or is he going to wait for +2 attack? He wants to end the game here. And I think he has enough. He's going to have to siege though. 2 of the wraiths getting picked off immediately. Range just finishes as he gets down here. And all of Eriador's units are getting stuck out in the middle of the map. The wraiths are going down. And the tanks are coming up here to the natural. They're going to be over this bridge. And I think this could be checkmate here for Eriador. Unfortunately, kogeT is just doing way, way too well here. And I don't think there's anything else he can do. This is just it. I don't see any way he can deal with this army. He's going to keep his hydras in the middle of the map to try and get the reinforcements, but he has to worry about the main force. The main force kills his natural. The tanks are going to zone out the hydralisks. And look at this. kogeT just goes home. He's like, okay, I've done as much damage as I need to do to cripple your economy. Now I'm just going to turn back home and make sure that those hydras I know you have in the middle of the map are not going to come and kill me with a counterattack. And there we go. There it is. Ensnare coming down on the bio. This essentially means Marines cannot stim. The stim effect is completely cancelled out. This is definitely an Eriador special. But one of the queens just going to sit there. But here we go. He's going to come in again. Oh, he broodling some of the tanks. Is he going to be able to clean this up? It doesn't look like it. The Hydra's coming in from behind. A great D-matrix there on some of the units. Is Eriador going to be able to clean this up? There's no more ensnare. There's no more ensnare. The Hydras are starting to get killed, and the units coming in from behind are going to be what kills this for kogeT. Eriador cannot hold on anymore. The queens were very, very nice. But unfortunately, it wasn't good enough. GG. Eriador taps out, and kogeT wins the first series for NetWars in STPL Season 4 in a very, very nice fashion. That was a very, very good game. So let's have a look at the results once I've actually added them, because I forgot to do that last time. Really well played game by Eriador though. He was doing such a good job defending against the wraiths. And then unfortunately at the end of it all, it just kind of fell apart. It does entirely negate the effect of Stim, if I remember reading that correctly from Drone himself. Ensnare is incredibly good against Bio, like incredibly good. Okay, let's head on over to the results, then I'll close up the stream. So here we have it, guys. NetWars with their first win in the series, of course. In the STPL Season 4, sorry, I've forgotten how English works. Best won game number 1 over Venom in a really cool PvP on Rosen Bridge. Best winning with 4 Robo Reaver from the island. Venom didn't stand a chance. Eriador playing against Yeti, winning on Desert Dwellers in a fairly well-played ZVP where he just kind of starved Yeti out, made it impossible for Yeti to expand. kogeT taking down LML in a really cool game on Pathfinder. LML tried to go for a big timing push to stop the 2-1 of kogeT, but unfortunately it didn't work out that way. Zero bringing it back to an ace match, winning over talent on Paradise in a fairly straightforward ZVP with a Hydra Bust. And then kogeT taking down Eriador in that final game. It is a Korean best, but it is not the Korean best. It is Red Best, who is different from Best White, who has played in the STPL before, but isn't playing this season. But yeah, that's basically the STPL for today, guys. It's been a lot of fun. You know what we're going to do? We are going to go over to the camera again to prove that this actually does work. I know a lot of people are like, oh, I don't like, I'm not sure about the camera thing, but it saves me have to worry about anything. I don't need to buy another green screen or anything. I don't really... Oh, wait, no. I can't do that because it's lagging like hell. Now I remember why I didn't do it before. Let's go back to the results screen. There is a bug with VR chat that just made me realize that this probably isn't going to work very well. But either way, let us call it there. That is going to be the end of today's STPL. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Hopefully you had a great time. And we'll be back on Wednesday, same time, 2100 CET, same place, twitch.tv/STPL, youtube.com/STPL TV, and I don't know my Africa link, but it's also available on Africa. So once again, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the donations and subs today. It means a hell of a lot, and I will see you guys next time. If you're watching this, you're watching the STPL. Hopefully you've been enjoying what you've seen so far. If you want to help me make more STPL content to bring more tournaments to you, please support us on Patreon, which you can find up here. And also, there's so many different things you can get through Patreon. One of the main and one of the easiest ones to get is, of course, access to all of the replays of the STPL so far. We've had some amazing games, such as some of the games you can see just over here.